Well, we're going to talk about Shadowrun 6th edition. This is the mechanics showcase. I know it says opening ceremonies, but that's a lie. This is the mechanics showcase. What we're going to do is talk about some mechanics. We're going to sort of walk through some situations, sort of like, you guys come up with things that you want to see, things that you're curious about how it works mechanically in the game, and we're going to try to like walk through how that would look, how it would work in sort of a structured, custom-made kind of way to watch how the dice would roll and what you might do in those situations. We'll talk it through and really just take some time to sit down and look at some specific situations rather than giving you some of our more high-level overviews and whatnot, and telling you, well, you'll have to wait and see how it plays when on the actual player. You have to wait and see when you get your hands on it. We'll try to see if we can give some form to that.
We're gonna take some time to do the things you never had. Because we missed the rains down in Africa. We blessed the rains? We missed the rains?
It's blessed, I think. No, it's missed. Blessed. No, I don't know. I think it's missed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Africa. It's Toto's Africa.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I felt like it was blessed too. But like I don't really know that makes sense. I don't really know what that means in that context.
It's bless. I just looked up the lyrics. We don't have to think about this now. It's I bless the rains down in Africa. All right. So
that means that vampires will have a really bad time during a rain.
I've always thought it was something else. Like I've missed the rains down in Africa.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Guess I learned something new today.
Every
wild
day.
Dog echoes in the night.
Yeah.
That song's been requested a lot at like wedding receptions and dances and stuff this last year. I wonder if that's because the Kristen Bell and her fiance or husband did a video where they were being goofy. And
Weezer just did a remake of it.
That enough?
You missed 2018 is the year of Africa.
Weezer? Like people still listen to Weezer?
Yeah.
Like
for
I mean, like
why wouldn't they?
New music that people listen to? Like,
look, I'm wearing a Weezer shirt.
In the 90s. I mean, like they're cool and all, right? Like
I just went to a concert.
My sweater and all that stuff, but like that's all like 1990s stuff.
Sure, they just released a new album.
Some covers. Yeah, it's pretty good.
This
year
they're
a cover band now.
Well, not,
that was 2018.
I mean, like, they're not like Rod Stewart level cover band, but like
I'm seriously just trolling you guys. It just doesn't seem like it because they seem too tired to be able to do it.
No, I picked up on it. Once I realized that I was starting to get worked up, I was like,
right? I was like, all right, Cliff, I guess I'm going to roll initiative against Cliff right now using 6th edition rules.
No, I got nothing against Weezer. They're okay.
Yeah.
They don't scratch any of my itches, but
I'm a big Weezer fan, so I was an easy mark.
My kid is actually a big Weezer fan. I'm like a mild Weezer fan, but she carries it for both of us.
Yeah. Let's talk some Shadowrun. So we need some scenario ideas from you guys, but while we're waiting for that, let's walk through something. You guys have an idea of something that you want to show how it works? In the
had questions we were going to answer, like scenarios. Do we have a list or something, or are we going to bug our audience for something?
What do you want us to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We want to get some from the audience, but I thought instead of just sitting here staring at the chat, maybe we'd start talking about something else.
Oh, you don't have something prepared for this? What the heck, Bobby?
Stop,
all right,
stop trolling me.
I'll stop being snappy.
I'm not in an emotional position to handle it right now.
You're doing great. You're doing great. I'm just Damien's not here. Okay, I've got to pick up the slack.
Yeah, I get that. That.
Okay, so if you don't have anything, I have to play Opti in a 2050s game. So let's try to figure out how magic works.
Yeah, that's not a bad place to start because we haven't seen much from magic. I know in our SR6 actual play we've seen a couple of things, but mostly from like invisibility and increased reflexes. But what about like more combat? And I'd love to see a manipulation. Doesn't manipulation work a little bit differently now or something?
I don't know. Was I supposed to know that?
No, I mean, you're requesting us to talk about it, so we're talking about it. You don't have to know because you want to know.
Right, there you go. I requested it.
Yeah.
let's start with a simple combat spell thing. All right, we have a combat where Opti's fighting some hanging chads or whatever. He's got to teach them a lesson because they're not standing down.
I hate the hanging chads.
Right?
I hate them.
Which is why you're fighting them. So you've got a couple different spells you might use to fight them with. One of them is an indirect combat spell, and one of them is a direct combat spell. Why don't we talk a little bit about the difference of those? I think they're a distinction that were in previous editions as well. But Opti, why don't you tell us the difference?
Let me find that place.
Oh, hey, somebody even suggested that. Cool. I probably saw that and then didn't realize I read it, and then came up with the idea.
I'm trying to get to the place where it describes it. Hold on.
All right, looking at page 132 for the beginning of combat spells. Well, direct combat spells.
I don't want to assume you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to assume that everything is the same. That leads to some weirdness between editions because I think we assume some things sometimes without.
Sure,
so
yeah, good point. But direct and indirect combat spells are lore-wise the same kind of thing. A direct combat spell, you're like forming an astral connection and channeling energy directly into their aura to frag them up. And there's nothing physical really going on. Well, there are physical versions, but it's still like it's more of a direct aura connection. All you need to do is see them. An indirect combat spell, it's called indirect because it like makes something that then hits the target and hurts them. Like anything where you conjure like flames or electricity or any elemental or even just like a kinetic wave of force, that would be an indirect combat spell, whereas direct would be like the magic is directly like messing up your stuff. So they work a bit differently, much like they do in 5th edition. Opti, do you have the stuff up there? Do you want to?
Yeah, I do. So a direct combat spell will be you're rolling your sorcery plus magic, which is just like SR5, and it's gonna be
all spell casting,
right, and it's going to be opposed by willpower and the intuition of the target.
Right.
Net hits are the damage, and you can amp it up however much you want.
Right.
And damage from direct combat spells are not resisted, which means if you get like a dope roll, that's a bad day for the receiver.
No.
Just like with 5th edition, they have less damage potential, but the damage that gets through isn't going to be reduced any further.
Right.
So only your net hits are the damage. However, there's the new amp up mechanic. But Bobby, you had something you're going to jump in with?
Yes, which is the first thing that you will do with casting a spell like a direct damage spell is you're going to do, like you do with any combat, you're going to compare attack and defense ratings. Make sure I'm often wrong about this, so stop me if I am. You always do. So I don't have to worry about that. The attack rating for magic for spells is your magic attribute plus the attribute associated with your tradition. So like for a hermetic, it would be your logic. So magic plus logic would make your attack rating. So you want to do that first.
And the defense rating is just like it is with other attacks, body plus armor. Mm-hmm. I guess that seems a little silly when you're doing mana bolts, which armor wouldn't normally even help with, but, oh well.
Now, so what do you think with that? That probably puts, I would say, a typical magician, like if I'm making a hermetic magician, I'd probably put my logic at 5 or 6, so we're probably looking between 10 and 12 for attack ratings. Right?
Yeah, I think we can assume that people who are dedicated to it would put it up at they would have 12 dice on this roll.
Right. Which makes it comparable to like a firearm specialist.
With what you said though, I want to make that clear, that attack rating that has nothing to do with the dice pool.
Right. Absolutely. This is just for determining advantage and edge and all that kind of stuff.
So did I miss you guys talking about how you determine attack value when you're casting a spell?
Yeah, we just said that.
Yeah, that's
okay,
magic attribute plus your tradition attribute. So like logic for hermetics, shamans.
Charisma plus magic?
Yes.
Okay. So my charisma would be, like a starting update would be a 5 charisma. and a 6 magic and a 6 sorcery. So,
all right, yeah, and you're in this alleyway. The hanging chads have surprised you. Well, you're looking for reagents or something, and they're around the corner and say, "Well, look at this. You're not gonna squeeze your way out of this."
I have
Looks like you caught us a little bird.
A lot of pizza. I can't squeeze my way out of anything, but I can give you a spell in the face.
Yeah, you see them all sort of sneering.
Quality dialogue you come to expect.
It was a good setup, Opti, but work on the follow through.
Okay, so I'm going to use my my direct combat spell of mana bolt. Let's make it simple. Mana bolt.
Okay, it's a single target, line of sight, mana, instantaneous, base damage value of 4, and the damage is physical, or base drain value of 4. Why don't you amp this spell up like once, just so we see how that works as well? Because I really hate these guys.
Is there a Discord bot I can use? Is it plugged into this channel? I don't think it is, right?
No.
You could hop into any of the ones that we normally use with it. I mean, no one else can see it, but
hold on one second.
So ramping up a spell, by the way, is we don't have forces anymore to change things like that, but what you can do instead is you can ramp up the spell, which is basically you're increasing the drain value in order to make the spell, the damage value higher, or in the case of like area of effect spells, you can actually change the size of the area, and I might be wrong about this, but in some cases, are you able to change the shape? At least the size, I know you can amp up.
The two main ways you can amp up out of the core book is to increase the damage and increase the area effect. Yeah. I think the shaping has to do with meta magic.
Yeah, it usually does in previous editions, so that would make sense.
Okay, so I'm amping it up by 1, right?
Yeah, so every point of damage you increase that amping up by will increase the drain you have to deal with by 2 points.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 12 dice, which is my magic plus spellcasting.
Hold on a sec. What's your attack rating?
Oh, good call. My attack rating would be, you said it was magic plus charisma, so 11.
Okay, and this guy's got a body of 3. He's wearing an armor jacket, so defense rating of 6. So you do have a high enough attack rating to get an edge point from this.
Okay, I got an edge point. I got 2 hits on this spell. I'm going to use that free edge point to reroll. I got nothing, so it stays at 2 hits.
All right, so that might be resisted normally, but we'll say he just gets 1 hit on his resistance roll. So you have 1 net hit normally with the mana bolt. That would mean he takes 1 point of physical damage, no further resistance. However, because you amped it up by 1, it's 1 more than that. So he takes 2 damage. 2 damage. So the amp up mechanic is a way to make these direct combat spells a little more dangerous than they otherwise might be. However, now you must resist 6 drain instead of 4. I said 6, but I held up one hand there.
So, the DV in the spells is drain value. So resisting 6, that's very punishing. Okay, so I'm going to be rolling 11 dice. I assume, right? Like resisting drain is magic plus your. Okay.
Yeah, no. For resisting drain, it's willpower plus your tradition attribute. So willpower plus charisma. I think there might have been a discrepancy in the quick start rules. Someone was asking me about that. In the core book, it says willpower plus tradition attribute.
Well, 5 hits out of 10 dice. I'll take it. So I'll take 1 point of drain.
So you feel a bit sleepy. The hanging Chad grabs his head and goes, "Oh, well, that wasn't so bad. You must be losing your touch. Get him!" And they go to sort of rush forward, and now you can cast an indirect combat spell, maybe something to frag him up a bit worse.
An indirect spell cast the same way, sorcery and magic, but this time it's going to be versus reaction and willpower. So instead of intuition, you swap in reaction, and then the damage is the caster's magic divided by 2. plus net hits plus amp up damage.
Yeah, but they also get to follow up with a body roll to
Yeah.
soak that damage if you hit them.
Yep.
So what's different about this from the previous edition is you would normally use whatever your normal ranged combat defense dice pool, which is normally reaction plus intuition to avoid these, but now in this edition it's reaction plus willpower, which I kind of like.
I'm going to use my my signature spell of Smackdown. Well, actually, I'm just going to use Blast, but we're going to call it Smackdown and indirect combat area of effect thing. Well,
yep, anyway. And this is an indirect spell. It doesn't have like a visible physical force. It's essentially like a kinetic concussion wave to knock people out instead of killing them with magical force. The Smackdown spell that we made up for the other game would have a higher drain value because it does physical damage, but let's just do the Blast for now.
Yeah, I didn't want to complicate things, but here we go. I'm going to roll my magic and my sorcery again.
Your attack rating is exactly the same for this spell as it is with the other, but just we'll go through the steps. It's 11, right?
Yep.
And normally it's a 2-meter radius to do a blast, like an area effective spell. If you want to make it bigger, you can increase your drain value by.
Let's ask that question though. What happens if you do an area of effect and they all have different defense values?
You compare against the highest one of the group.
Okay, all right.
And that determines whether you get the hit or not.
And knowing's half the battle. So, 2 meters is fine. I don't care. We're just testing things out. I'm just gonna hit this.
It's a fairly narrow alleyway, so we'll say you can get all 3 of them with a single blast there. The base damage will be half your magic rating, of course. Range is line of sight, which is easy enough. It's physical, so there's this wave of kinetic force that comes out. And you cast your, we're comparing
I'm going to bump it up too. Not by 2, but I'm going to bump it up also using the same mechanic as before to amp it up by 1.
And they would roll resisting using reaction plus willpower.
I got my edge reroll, right? Or I got my edge, so
yes.
I'm gonna reroll.
It's the same edge. It's the same calculation before your attack rating is high enough. That guy did have the highest defense rating of the group, so you do get an edge for that.
So same as before. I only got 2 hits.
Okay, and they roll their reaction plus willpower. Let's assume they can only pull off 1 hit, and you get 1 net hit. Now this time it's base damage plus net hits plus whatever your amp up was. So what is that total?
So my magic divided by 2 would be 3.
And I believe we round
net
that
hits,
up, which we don't need to. But
right, net hits would be 1, so that's 4, and then amp up damage would be another 1, so that would be 5. And they're gonna roll their body to resist this damage.
Yeah, and they've got like 3 dice for that, so we'll assume they get 0 or 1 hits, and they all take 4 or 5 points of stun damage on top of what they had before. And considering the hanging chads are a bunch of whiny snot-nosed brats, they're gonna go running off.
Yeah,
so there we go. We used a couple combat spells.
I gotta
you have to resist drain. It's an extra 2. Draco Desu was asking about the amp up. It's 2 drain per amp up for damage. It's 1 drain per 2-meter amp up on a radius.
And I got 3 hits on that one. I'm taking 6 drain, so I now have 4 stun total. Now, how do reagents work?
They don't for spell casting.
Ew. Okay.
Unless you're doing ritual magic or something.
Yeah, basically,
they're handy for spirits.
Yeah, basically.
Well, that's a nerf. That's quite a big nerf because drain is punishing.
Very big. Yeah.
Well, I think there was a lot of reagents shenanigans in the previous edition.
That's true.
What a little bit farther on the other end. I still feel like there should be some sort of costly drain mitigating mechanic, and I bet you there will be with a feature splat book.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, casting magic does not seem super powerful.
What I thought might work for a house rule is to allow you to expend a number of reagents equal to the drain value of what you're casting, in order to reduce the drain value by 1.
The thing is,
that would be
reagents are
expensive,
so relatively cheap that there's no reason why you wouldn't just automatically carry them around.
I suppose. I mean, they're 20 million a piece. If you're going to throw a drain value 6 spell like you just did and cut that drain value down to a manageable level of like 3 or 4, you're looking at, you know, a few hundred new yen for that one spell.
Yeah,
that's a lot of. It's pretty expensive ammo.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's a total made up thing, so we probably shouldn't digress down that territory too much farther. What else have we got?
We did have a couple of questions in, and keep them coming because we're going to do as many as we can. We might not get to all of them, but we'll do as many as we can until about noon Eastern. We have a Rigor question. How does Rigor control gunnery work now? Let's see. We have I'm looking at the rigging section right now.
It's pretty straightforward, except that the combat skill that you use is engineering.
Okay.
We can do an example though. Let's say I guess Bobby, you're driving a car. It's got you're a rigger and it's got a turret mounted gun on it.
Right. And
Opti, you're riding in the back. You're maybe a little bit too drained out to be throwing spells right now, so you're going to be shooting a gun, just for comparison's sake.
All right. So I would be controlling this vehicle with my rigger, with my RCC, right? Using an RCC.
No, probably not. You're probably jacked in because you're like in the vehicle driving it. An RCC is more for drones. You could be using an RCC. But let's just assume you got the control rig with the cable plugged in.
I always confuse an RCC with a control rig. That's my apology. So yeah, I've got a control rig, and
what was the actual question that we're answering?
How you shoot things with riggers?
Yeah, rigger control gunnery.
What page are you on?
The rigging section starts on page 190 something, 196.
I just literally want to be on the same page.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to.
All right, so you guys are being chased by, I guess, an opponent rigger who's got their own car and a couple of drones that are chasing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to bother with initiative here at this point, but or even how many actions you have exactly, but we'll kind of give each you a turn to see how it goes. So Opti, you're going to be first. You got the gun in your hand, and you see the drones flying up, and you want to take a shot to shoot one of them. So shooting at a vehicle, you would use your normal gun skill, and let's pretend Opti has one, if he doesn't.
It depends on what edition it is.
Let's say that Opti is passed out from drain, and someone is with him that's been kind of keeping an eye on him, and they're pulling a gun to help watch his back. You're trying to get away with them.
I think Jazz is here, and Jazz is gonna shoot.
Are you gonna let Jazz do the shooting?
Probably not a good idea, but Jazz has that ability. And we're gonna say that he has really amped up lately. He's got 12 dice.
All right, so we'll say attack rating of that gun is like a 9 at this range. The defense rating of the drone is going to be like a 5, so that'll get him a point of edge. However, using a weapon that you're shooting from a vehicle, this is where it gets a little bit complicated and fiddly with the numbers. The vehicles have something called the speed interval, and it's like a certain amount of like speed that the vehicle can handle at a certain time. So like if I have a speed interval of 20, every time I'm going more than 20 meters per turn, I'm taking a progressively more penalties, and it's applying to some stuff. So
can I just pause here to say like everything else gets streamlined, but this seems like honestly, a weird complication.
This is so fiddly compared to everything else in the system.
But yeah, why? Anyway, like we'll roll with it. Like I guess if you want to pause, I was expecting you to just say, but we're driving, so that reduces.
That would be a -2. Nope. Now we have to look at your car and see what the speed interval is. And then we figure out how fast you're going and how many multiples of the speed interval that is. And then that multiple becomes your penalty to shoot out of the car. Yeah.
All right, buddy, tell me what
Not
it is.
my favorite rules design of 6th edition.
All right. So I don't
let's
want
say it's -2 because I don't feel like doing any more thinking on this subject at the moment.
All right, cool. So -2.
And that does affect your dice pool. So yeah, now we have some modifiers into this like system that Edge is supposed to take care of. So oops, I'm complaining about stuff. I'll stop being as snarky about it. This is really the This is really the ugliest spot in the whole rule book, I think.
Yeah. Cliff was like the bulwark against us being negative, and now we've turned into
I'm
the dark
bringing it out here. Like this whole speed interval thing is pissing me off.
Okay, so I guess I don't get my edge, but I did hit four attacks or 4 hits.
Okay. You shoot a drone and it damages it. I don't care what else happens. Bobby, it's your turn to shoot. You have a vehicle mounted gun, and so because you're not like trying to shoot a gun out of the vehicle, it's mounted in there. I don't think the speed interval penalty applies.
No, I don't think so. And so that's a benefit right there that you get in comparison to other ones.
Now I gotta look up control rig quick. I don't think control rig applies to shooting at all.
Yeah, I was trying to look that up, but I failed because I got distracted by trying to figure out what my attack rating would be on like an Ingram Valiant or something.
So interestingly enough, under the vehicle combat, they break things up into 2 categories: using a weapon while in a vehicle, and using the vehicle as the weapon. I appreciate it.
So a control rig gives its bonus, its rating as a bonus on dice pool test to all vehicle skill tests, which I'm going to say is probably not engineering plus logic to shoot, but also and a bonus point of edge when you're doing those. I don't think it plays into the gunnery.
Yeah, fair to say, but you do roll to fire the weapon. It's a simple engineering plus logic test.
We're going to compare attack rating here as well. You're going to be at the 2nd range category because you're close enough to mess with each other, I guess.
So we'll look at an Ingram Valiant, and I believe that's 11 if I looked at it correctly. So the 2nd range category.
Sorry, chat, we're not going to have the engineering versus ballistics conversation.
Yeah,
I don't mind that so much. I'm bored arguing about that.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like that's been done other places. Go look for it on the internet, but we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll call this a Toyota Golfer. So it's got a body plus armor of 18. That must be the defense rating. So yeah, it's going to get an edge against you because you're shooting a tough truck.
Oh geez. Okay. Well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Look at the edge calculation. The opposing rigger gets an edge because you're shooting his tough truck with the wimpy bullets of your big ass machine gun.
So am I reading it wrong that the attack rating of the vehicle is it's the attack rating of the vehicle, not
the gun determines the gun and its range determines the attack rating for shooting. Just like with any other shooting in 6th edition. Yep. But yeah, the skill here is engineering plus logic.
Yeah, so let's say that I'm a rigger, so engineering is going to be an important skill. Let's say I have that as a 6, and then my logic is let's just say I have a dice pool of 10. Like between the two, I think that's reasonable, and
you could even, if you want to, just make up how many hits you got. So
yeah, let's just say I get the 4. Let's say I had a good roll and I got 4 hits.
All right, opposing person's a rigger, so they're probably going to do decent. Maybe they get 2, so you have 2 net hits, and so you add 2 to your damage for your gun.
Yep, and Ingram Valiant's was something like something physical, 4 physical, so that would be 6 physical total, and I'm shooting at a vehicle.
Yeah, damage is pretty much the same against vehicles. I think if the total damage is less than their armor, then it just bounces off.
Is it because it's hardened? Is it because it's hardened armor?
It's not. I think it's the same with the other edition where vehicles get some sort of special protection, but it's not like as good as hardened armor. Like this hardened armor gives you auto soak equal to the armor rating as well in this edition. But there's one thing I'm looking up with Ingram Valiant. Okay, it's semi-auto, burst fire, or full auto. So I do want to cover like what kind of shot did you take with that? Just like a single bullet, I guess.
Well, I feel like it
Or a
probably
burst?
I feel like it probably would have been a burst fire at least. So let's go there. Let's say I'm shooting at with a narrow burst at the vehicle.
All right, and then in that case, it would add 2 to the damage as well. I just wanted to bring that up because an Ingram Valiant, you're not normally going to just shoot a single bullet with,
Right.
and I think that auto fire option is going to be really popular to squeeze out those extra damage points.
Yeah. For
Also,
sure.
just to note that when a rigger is jumped into a drone, the firing process is the exact same as firing a mounted thing from a vehicle.
Yep. So the vehicle that you hit, the base damage is 4. You had 2 net hits, and it's a burst, so it's a total of 8 damage. He would soak that with just the body of the vehicle, which is 12 in this case. We'll say he soaks about half of that. So you put some holes in the truck, and I'm going to resolve one more thing. He's got another drone that hasn't been taken out yet that's going to be firing at your vehicle. So it's a rotodrone and it has a submachine gun on it. It's going to do a burst fire. I'm going to pick a gun here. We'll say it's an Ingram Smart Gun. So attack value of 9 at this range against your vehicle's body plus armor.
Which we'll say was, probably 16, 18.
Yeah. And normally I'd say their attack rating would probably go down a little bit, but would be compensated by some things from the burst. But I'm not even going to worry about it because the difference between attack value and attack and defense rating is so far that a 1 or 2 point difference isn't going to matter. So yeah, you get an edge because you're getting shot at by stuff that is less dangerous, I guess. And then it's going to fire, and this is a drone firing on its own. It's not being piloted by a rigger.
Okay.
So in this case, it's going to rely on an autosoft that is a Ingram Smart Gun specific targeting autosoft, which has a rating, and it's got a pilot rating of. I should look it up for rotodrones here. Should have more stats in front of me. Jumping around the book.
Oh yeah. So
A pilot of 3. So we'll say a pilot of 3 plus an autosoft of 3 as well. But actually, there's one more thing I should check on autosofts. Before, the autosoft rating was limited by the rating of the pilot. Now the drone has a number of slots for autosofts equal to half their pilot rating rounded up, which is the same as before. And it doesn't look like that it caps it out. But I'm still going to leave it at 3 for now. So you got 6 dice coming at you shooting. Let's say the drone misses because it doesn't have a lot of dice. But I just wanted to go over where the drone gets its dice pool and how the edge would play in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a good one.
Am I bumping my table here? I've got to get a better mounting spot for this camera because like anytime I do this or lean over, it just wiggles.
I'm constantly punching my microphone, so... But yeah, that's a good one. Before we answer the next question, I did want to remind people that, of course, we're doing the Stream-a-Thon. That's good, but that's part of our summer fundraiser, which we're doing a great job on. We only have $250 left to get to our $4,000 goal, and we're just over halfway through the Stream-a-Thon, so that's amazing. I know we are going to get to that before the end of this Stream-a-Thon. But we do have stretch goals beyond that, so there's no reason to think that once we get to 4,000 we're done. We have some other things that we'd like to be able to get, and the best way for you to contribute is, I think, there are several ways, but I think the easiest no-brainer way is to get some of our raffle tickets called Karma Points. And the reason I bring all this up right now is because I wanted to make sure you know so you can get a chance to get one while we're talking here. Before we finish this thing here, I was going to give away, let's make it one of the bigger items. Why don't let's give away one of the Shadowrun beginner box sets. The physical beginner box.
Beginner box. You guys can begin.
Yeah, let's give away one of those. And yeah. So if you want to have a chance at getting that, you should go ahead and get some of the raffle tickets. Your odds are really good, actually, of winning something because we have a small community and lots of prizes that we're giving away. So I won't go through the whole math like I've been doing all the time. But if you were to get 5 raffle tickets, for example, right now, then your odds of winning at least something are about, let's see, about 30% of winning something. So that's pretty good odds just for 5 tickets, five raffle tickets. If you get just one, you have even about 7% chance, 5 to 7% chance of getting just something, and that's pretty good for a raffle. So go on and check that out, and we'll draw for a physical beginner box set, which right now you could only get if you went to Origins. So
and you know what? I wrote those quick start rules in that one.
Yeah, that's right.
I was given a working template for the SR6 rules and was told make this understandable.
Let's be clear. I don't want you to get yourself in trouble. You didn't design the rules. You wrote the
rules. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but the rules were still in flux when I was given the task to write the quick start rules. So There are some changes between the quick start and the thing. I wasn't able to change anything. I was just given what I was given and told to make it understandable.
Right, and I want to make it clear, I'm also not saying, trust me, Opti didn't write this crap. That's not what I'm saying. Or design this crap. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm not saying anything either. I'm taking credit for what I took credit for and not taking credit for what I didn't take
I just don't want people to end up shooting the messenger, that's all.
I guess if you like the layout and if you find it pleasing the way that it kind of eases you into the system, you're welcome. Yeah, if you hated it, totally not my fault.
Exactly. Let's stop talking ourselves in circles and down into a hole and continue on. Get some raffle tickets. The beginner box is good. There's lots of other stuff in there too. Let's see. The next question we had was, how do amps work with spells? Well, I think we actually went through that.
It's pretty easy. You can increase the damage by 1 for an exchange of adding 2 drain, or you can increase the area of a spell by help me out, Cliff.
2 meters per additional 1 point of drain, and you can do this multiple times. And you could do I'm gonna do a 50 drain spell for plus 25 damage, and then die.
Yeah, and each spell has its own starting base drain value.
Which let me ask about that, because you can still burn edge to stay alive, right?
Yeah, I gotta look up to see if there's some sort of limit in there other than
because if I go up against Lofvir and I'm just force 100 and then I'll die, but then I'll just use edge to stay alive. But I killed Lofvir.
Yeah. Well, your GM will use plot armor or something.
Oh, weird. You could do a minor action under adjusting the spell. It's not part of the amping. You could do a minor action to change an area that a sustained spell is affecting to another area. Okay, I guess that was kind of a free action before. Never mind. I was thinking you'd be I'm going to take my invisibility spell off of them and put that on them. But you can't do that. It has to be an area spell. Yeah, the amp up stuff is just for damage and area of effect. I'm hoping we'll see some neat stuff, like different possibilities in some of the other future books. But right now, that's about all there is to it.
We do have a simple question, which is less about a mechanic showcase, but while I'm waiting on questions about that kind of thing, someone did ask on Discord, said, how are the races differentiated in character creation for 6th edition?
I actually love this. I love the way that they did this.
I'm thinking maybe we need to mostly save this for later because we're doing an actual character creation segment.
That's true. That's true.
They're changed a lot. The mechanics of it are changed a lot. You can make an elf with charisma 1 now. You can make a troll with the body of 1.
Yeah, I really like the way they did this because it takes a lot of the teeth away from the problems that trolls used to pose by just being super, super better, right? Mechanically. Now it forces you to buy up all of those points of attributes. So trolls may have a higher upper limit, but you're still going to pay for every point that you get.
Yeah, but if you choose to invest more in your meta type priority, you're going to get more of those troll racial attribute points to put in your body and your strength to bump that up. So there is a way to get more of that. But if you don't want to be super big tank troll, if you want to be scrawny Decker face troll, you can stick an E in your meta type just like a human would and still be a troll.
Yeah, and so again, what this allows you to do is it kind of at once recognizes the diversity of the sixth world in that you could have an ugly elf or a really skinny, weak troll. Like that's a statistical thing that could happen. And everybody starts with 1s across the board. You have to buy up any attribute bonuses that you get. Nobody gets an automatic bonus, but there are certain meta types that have a higher upper limit, and then you can use your meta type bonuses to push those up to buy those. I think it's a really good system.
Yeah, I guess we'll be covering this in detail in our character creation thing. I think sometime in the wee hours later tonight.
There's actually two. There's actually 2 of them. One is coming right after this when with just me, and I'm gonna really slowly walk through. We probably won't even get all the way through one, but we'll just start the process, and we're gonna do another one later, right before the ending, the closing ceremonies. I think it's gonna start at about 1:30 in the a.m. Tonight. So and that'll end up on YouTube. So if you can't make it, we encourage you to be here so that you can ask questions and help us because we're gonna create stuff with you. But if you can't make it, it'll be on YouTube. You can still see us do it. We got a whole nother hour. So did you talk about Deckers? We got. So we should come up with
specific because we're doing examples here.
Yeah, if you'd like
what
to
do we
see
want to do
something
with
specific.
Deckers?
Yeah.
I guess let's start while we wait for that. If you're a Decker, your attribute, your matrix attribute array is the way you get that is a little funky. It's not just from your cyber deck anymore. You're going to be relying on 2 different pieces of gear. One of that, from what I understand, the numbers you get from these don't have to stick with what they originated from. So if you have a high like data processing or firewall option from your cyberjack and a really low number from a cheap cyber deck, you could stick that higher number onto your attack, even though it came from your cyberjack. That was a point of confusion that I had from reading the rules. But
you can't do that if you don't have those attributes to begin with.
Right. Yeah. If you don't have a cyber deck and you just have a cyberjack for whatever reason, maybe like a normal person would just have a comlink that gives them a data processing and firewall much lower. I mean, they wouldn't have an attack or sleaze. They couldn't put it in there.
So one of the things I really like about this is it gets rid of that Trode Decker. You know what I mean? Like that guy who did not bother to like invest anything of himself or herself into becoming a Decker. Can't just throw on Trodes, or the adept, right, who just throws on Trodes can't be the best Decker of the world. So I kind of like the Cyberjack, if only for that.
Yeah, what I like about it is that even with the 2 different pieces of gear now, the Cyberjack plus the Cyber Deck is a lot less of a monetary investment than just the Cyber Deck was in 5th edition. I think Cyber Deck prices for what they did game-wise in 5th edition were just like not my favorite part of the rules design, but here they seem to fit. They make sense. It's still more dependent on your character's abilities, but there's important stuff coming from the gear. But it's not so prohibitive that you can't do anything else with a Decker. That said, such a huge essence loss. Man, we've never seen that before for Deckers. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but like a hotshot decker could have up to 3 points of essence loss from their fancy jack. That's huge.
Can you get cyberjacks in like alphaware?
Oh, sure, and you can get Delta grade stuff at character creation if you can afford it. So yeah, if you want to be that cyber adept, and have the magic, you can you only want to lose 1 point of essence total. So you get like a rating 3 and get a Delta grade, and maybe that's still potentially within the range of that's still within the range of what I think someone could afford at character creation potentially.
I like that. I think that's fine. I think the cost of being a dedicated decker should be relatively high.
So let's have a decker here. I think Bobby or Opti, which one do you want to do this? You both have some experience decking.
I think I've decked enough for SR6. So I'll let Bobby do this one.
All right, Bobby, you've got a decker. Feel free to pull the one out of the character creation archetypes if you want, or just make up numbers as we go.
All right. I will grab the Decker archetype and take a look at that.
And now you need to hack into a host to steal a file.
All right. Well, I've got my...
In order to access this host, you're going to need to be able to enter it, and there's a couple different ways you can do that. There's the brute force way or the sort of slow and sneaky way. What kind of decker are you?
I'm going to try slow and sneaky, knowing nothing about this decker I'm looking at.
All right, that allows us to use the incredibly amusing terminology of these matrix actions. First, you will need to probe the host. This is an extended test that takes a minute. It's an illegal action. It's an illegal action, but it doesn't actually start setting off alarms because it's more subtle activity. So
right.
You would roll your cracking plus logic versus the host's firewall plus its rating, because it's a host. It just uses its rating for that. And we need to actually compare an attack and defense ratings for this, for the edge.
Right.
So what is your attack rating? I believe it's your attack plus sleaze.
Yes, that is right. My sleaze is, let's see. Well, my attack rating from the I've got a Shiawassier Cyber 6.
Oh yeah.
And it's attack of 8. It looks like. Yep. Is that right? 8 A/S is 8.
Well, you have an array of 4 numbers you can stick in amongst your 4 attributes however you want before you go doing this.
Maybe I should look at the actual cyber deck instead of this sheet.
So one of the things I like about decking in SR6 is that every matrix action tells you whether or not you can do it without having different access, right? So there's a bunch of matrix actions that you can take that have the outsider tag, which means that you don't have to have any sort of access in order to try them out, in order to try to do them. There's also user access and admin access, which you do have to now probe and get backdoors into. But there's a lot of stuff that you can use just with outsider access, which I think makes things a lot more easy.
Right.
A lot easier.
So the cyber deck itself provides the attack and sleaze rating, right? And it's the cyber jack that provides the data processing and firewall. Is that right?
Well, they provide those pool of numbers. Assuming you've got those, you can actually use those pool of numbers to assign amongst any of those attribute ranges.
Right. So
you could take the 8 from your Shiawassier Cyber 4, which is normally in the attack and sleaze origination, and you could stick that in your firewall if you want to.
I see. Okay, so it's starting to come together now. So the cyber deck gives me an 8 and a 7 to assign, so to speak, and the cyber jack gives me an 8 and a 9. So I've got a 9, 8, 8, 7. So let's say I'm trying.
This is a perfectly. This is on the higher end of what a starting character can afford, but this isn't going to totally wreck their budget either. So these are some pretty high numbers right out the gate.
Yeah.
With a dedicated decker.
Yeah, they really are. So I'm going to say, since I'm doing it slow and steady, I probably would have my sleaze at a 9 and my firewall and data processing both at 8 and attack at 7. So let's say, so we're now back to what we were talking about. You said sleaze and what?
A sleaze plus attack is your attack rating for all matrix actions.
Okay.
So basically, the total of your illegal attributes is your attack rating,
Got it.
and then defense plus firewall is, data processing plus firewall determines defense rating. So basically, the total of your legal matrix attributes is your defense rating.
Right. So the way I assigned those, I have an 8 and a 7 in sleaze and attack respectively. So that would give me a 15 attack rating.
This being a rating 4 host, I'm going to say you're looking at its defense rating is going to be 11. So that's enough to get you a point of edge. If you're hot sim, you would get a point of edge just for being hot sim. And so why not take that? Because what decker doesn't go hot sim?
That's right. So that's definitely true there. Then
your 2 edge already for that. That's the most you can get from a single edge.
So can
gain
I pause
action.
right here to ask the question: if simply going hot sim gives you edge?
No, it's anytime you do some sort of a edge generating opposed action, and you're hot sim.
So even if the other person that you're going against is hot sim as well?
Yes, because that's just that's the bonus from it. Used to be +2 to your dice pool in the Matrix if you were hot sim. Now it's you get an edge every time you do something that would get you an edge.
Okay, I'm just thinking ahead for when other people want to write different stuff about edge. It doesn't necessarily have to be a conflict. It can just be your gear or your whatever.
It only comes up in the conflict, though. I mean, you could be hot sim all day long, like slotting beetles and playing video games and scanning the Matrix and not get an edge all day long.
Sure.
But if you're gonna hack into somebody, you start getting edge pretty quick with each of your actions.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
So comparing numbers here, you got your 2 edge. Well, again, with the edge, there's 3 essentially check boxes you can get edge from. One is the attack rating versus defense rating comparison. One is like situational stuff. That's you get an edge or not. And then the other one would be like gear or qualities. So I think the hot sim fills the situational bonus. You might have a quality that could get you edge, but you're already capped out at 2 per turn. So you got your 2 edge. You're going to roll your dice. It's an illegal action, so it's electronics plus logic.
Right. And so in case people don't already know this, it's likely that you don't. Illegal actions require a cyber deck. I've got my cyber deck, so I can do that. But you have to have a cyber deck in order to perform illegal matrix actions. Do I have that correct?
I didn't quite follow that. I
I
missed something in there and lost your train of thought and saw the chat and spaced out.
Yeah, so from my reading of it, if you want to perform an illegal action, you can't use a comlink. You have to have a cyber deck to perform illegal actions. Is that right?
I'm pretty sure. I think you have to have an attack and a sleaze attribute.
Okay. All right. So tell me what I'm. I've got my edge. We've compared. So tell me what I'm rolling again.
Your dice pool for every illegal action you'll ever do. It's cracking plus logic.
Yeah, and so that simplifies things. You don't have to look up a bunch of stuff for different things. It's an illegal action, cracking plus logic. For me, that is a dice pool of logic 6, cracking 7. So that means I'm looking at a 13. This is so let's say I get the average of 4 hits.
Okay, you got your 4 hits versus the host. We'll say you succeeded with 2 net hits, so you now have placed your probe in the host. That will last potentially a number of hours or until it's used, and that will allow you to gain admin access with a single action later. So now it's time to do that. Now that you've put your probe in place, it's time for your backdoor entry.
All right. And so to recap,
I'm using the names of the actions from the book. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to specifically be. Well, I am because it's funny.
but to clarify for everybody, or just for point of recap, probing what we just did is the first step in gaining access to a host, right? That's what you do.
And it takes you like a whole minute, which is an eternity in the Matrix, so to speak. That's
Right.
like lots of combat turns. So don't try to do this when your friends are like getting chased by security. It's time
Right.
for something else there. But so yeah, now that you've got the probe in place, you can do a follow-up action, which is the probe, or which is the backdoor entry. Assuming your probe hasn't been removed from their backdoor.
Right.
So is probing something that you can do before you gain backdoor entry, or can you sit on backdoor entry for a while? Otherwise, like there's like
Usually-
2 or 3 steps
Usually
before you can do.
Yeah, the probe lasts, the probe that you put in place, that lasts usually 10 minus the host or device rating in hours before it's sort of automatically removed by the admin stuff.
Okay, so
but
like
until that
theoretically, if you know that you're going up against a certain corp, you can you can put that probe in place a couple hours before the shadow run.
Yeah, you buy them dinner first, take them out to dinner.
But honestly, like this would be something that during the legwork phase, the decker could just slide into their host, like do a probe, you know what I mean? Like and once the action starts, doesn't have to slow down as much.
Bob
So
Volbright.
I
I'm
kind
reading
of dig
it right.
this. I don't know. For me, this feels more like realistic hacking, even though it's not by any means, trying to be real world hacking or anything. It seems more appropriate. Like the more careful, cautious, sneaky decker is going to go in and like put some little code in that they can manipulate later. I love how they did that with the system now. So
Yeah,
you can still
again,
crash
it's
the
not
door down.
something. It's not something that I would like the decker to do on the fly, because this does seem a little fiddly and might take some time. But if they've done it beforehand, I think that makes things pretty slick.
Yeah, it does. And Bob Volbright is in the chat room, and he says that he does say there's no time limit on when it expires anymore.
Okay. So you go ahead and do your
why
backdoor
not?
entry.
Did Cliff not read that right?
It is
or
a Matrix.
Is Bob changing the rules, or is that rule just not in there?
I'm looking at the core rule book. It says it lasts for like a certain amount of time, usually 10 minus hosts and hours. So I guess I'm not sure what's going to be in the errata or what's not.
Okay. Well, it says usually, right? So I guess GM could just say you got it and it's fine.
I mean, why would it stay there forever?
Well, because you build in backdoors to things, right? Like that's how deckers.
They're like constantly like there's a change log and automatic corrections and stuff. Like I don't know. It makes sense for it to like go away after a day or so, but whatever. The important thing is you've got a probe in place, ready to go with 2 net hits. So when you actually go to hack into the thing, it's going to take you a major action to do the backdoor entry.
Okay.
And that is an illegal action, so you would use your electronics plus logic versus their dice pool. And because you had a probe with 2 net hits, you get plus 2 dice for that preparation on this test.
So here's a question: the probe
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Since this is an opposed test, we're comparing attack rating to defense rating. We've already determined that, so we don't even have to think about it anymore. You get an edge for that, and you get an edge because you're hot sim.
Right.
So that covers the edge start part of things. Now
Right.
you're actually doing the action. And what this does is lets you actually enter the host using that back door that you put in place, or the probe.
And you
sorry,
said...
Opti, what were you saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, if probe is an illegal action too, does that start your Overwatch score?
Good question. Yeah.
Because if it starts your Overwatch, then you can't just hang out, can you?
Well, Overwatch score is built slightly differently now. I know that I don't know all the full details. I know Cliff, I'm sure, can elucidate on this, but I do know that it doesn't accumulate every 15 minutes like it used to.
It accumulates faster in the sense of like per action, but not as much over time. That said, yeah, you would, from what I can read here, if a probe fails, you don't trigger an alarm unless you get a glitch or something. It looks like you would still get some Overwatch from doing it, but I don't think it would go away when you reboot your deck or something. The probe is something that's going to stay in place, not like marks of old. So you could essentially reboot your deck in between things and come at it with a fresh Overwatch score, which would probably be a good idea.
That's actually a huge change.
Yeah. Bob
that's actually really
Bob clarified on our question about this time limit, and they actually abstracted that out, Cliff. He said he'd need to double check, but that the test that resolves the backdoor action should have the data sweep sort of built in. If the backdoor fails, then that means they found it and shut it down, and it's meant to remove that part of the bookkeeping.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I like that. That does answer that question very well.
All right. Now, I think the more tangents we cover on this, the less clear it's going to be. So let's try to stay a little bit more focused. You put the probe in place with 2 net hits. It took you a whole minute sometime earlier today. You're coming at the host now to hack in and steal a file. With the probe in place that allows you to do the sneaky action of backdoor entry with bonus dice equal to the net hits you had on the probe. So roll your illegal action dice pool. You get +2 dice from that. We figured out you gained a point of edge because of the difference in attack rating, defense rating, and another one because of your hot sim. You've gained a total of 4 edge so far.
Wow!
Over the course of this hack,
So with all those things, my illegal actions dice pool was 13 plus the 2 for that. That's 15. So let's say I get the average of 5 hits on that.
Okay, we'll assume you succeed with a net hit or 2, and because you succeeded with this backdoor entry, you go straight from outsider access to admin access.
Wow.
Normally, if you gain admin access to a host illegally, you start generating Overwatch. I think it's like 2 per turn. Like, it's pretty fast. So you'd be better if you fast. That's if you bash the door down with a brute force. But because you did it this way, you are not you don't start the timer for accruing Overwatch for illegal admin access. You could stay here all day or until the ice finds you.
Wow.
So you find yourself in the host, and now all you need to do is find this file and download it.
Already to me, I'd like to just commentary this, and then we'll move straight into it. But already to me, this feels like cooler, like more of a hackery, you know? All right, so how do I...
Let's, however, I want to show off a little bit more here because there's another way you can get in.
Okay.
Let's pretend you screwed up in the backdoor entry.
And it failed.
It doesn't immediately set off alarms, but your OS increases, and we'll say your probe was erased. But your team's in place. You've got to do this job. You got to get this job done now.
Got to get it done. So it's time to brute force, is what you're saying, right?
So now you're going to use an action called brute force to just bash your way in. I'm going to get admin access without a probe or anything. I'm just saying, frag you, Matrix. I'm going in.
Right.
So we still use the same comparison for attack and defense rating, and you still get an edge because you're hot sim, so you get +2 edge for this. And it's an illegal action, so it's the same dice pool, so we don't have to think too much about that. There's no +2 at all with because from the probe, because that's gone.
Yeah, probe doesn't matter. You're skipping the probe and the backdoor entry in favor of one single brute force.
And here's the thing: if you're going to attempt to gain user access, it's one. It's the base. It's opposed normally. If you're going to go straight for admin access, the host gets more dice against you.
Oh wow! Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
It feels good.
So we need.
It gets bonuses to defense rating as well. Oh, actually, yeah. That's high enough to where you're not getting an edge from that. You're just getting an edge for hot sim. So unless you have analytical mind or something else, you will only get 1 edge for this action.
All right.
So 2 is the most edge you can get, right, on any particular thing?
From a single action, yes. Or
okay, so
action,
even if you
combat round.
Even if you had analytical mind and you were better and you were hot sim, it would still be capped at 2.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's say I was really counting on that admin access and I want to do that.
Okay. Though I will say the edit file action, the the lowest level access required is only user access. So you could just try to go for that if you want to.
Oh yeah, well of course. I'm a practical decker. We're just trying to get the job done. So I'm gonna go for user access. No need to overkill. I'm already brute forcing. This is gonna be challenging. So I'm going to roll my illegal actions dice pool. That's 13 dice, cracking plus logic. And let's say I get 4 hits.
Okay. And let's say you've been building a bunch of edge here. You got to start using it anyway. Let's say we're going to do an edge action. You're going to use 4 edge to pre-edge this roll. So
yeah. My edge
that
attribute
means
is
you
4.
get to add your edge attribute, and you get to roll exploding 6s, just like the pre-edge we know and love from 5th edition.
Yeah. So that would give me already, just from average number of successes, another to make it 5 hits. And let's just say let's just say I got lucky and got another one. So 6 hits because I used my edge.
All right, and the opposed roll is more dice because you're going like brute force straight from outsider to admin. They're going to get a bunch of hits on you, but not enough. Your Overwatch score goes up by a big chunk. Excuse me, I'm not sure exactly how much, and neither are you unless you're running Baby Monitor. We'll call it 5 or 6 at this point. But now you're going to be getting 2 Overwatch every combat round because alarms are going off. You've broken into the place. The ice is launching. They're looking for you.
I've kicked down the host's door and doing a smash and grab on the host, basically.
Yep. So now what you need to do to find the file is just a matrix perception test. It's not an illegal action. It's not really an opposed thing, so I don't think you get an edge for it, unless you're like trying to find something that's hidden. Actually, no, this is an opposed one because you are searching on a host that doesn't want you to find its stuff. So it is a legal action, though. So instead of cracking plus logic, you're using electronics. In this case, electronics plus intuition. So this is a case where analytical mind would not help you.
Mm-hmm. So that's
you get a point of edge because of hot sim, and you get a point of edge because of your attack rating versus defense rating, because the bolstering effect of the brute force isn't helping it. So
right. So my electronic skill is 5. My intuition is 5. That gives me 10 dice. And I'll get 3 hits on that.
Fortunately for you, this is opposed by host rating plus sleaze, and sleaze is one of its lower attributes because why does a host have to be sneaky? It only gets 2 hits to oppose you, and bloop, you find the file. It's there floating in space with all its iconography that we're not bothering to explain.
Found it. All right.
Now there's a file there. There might be barriers to download in the file, or you could just try to grab it and see what happens.
Well, my Overwatch score just went up by 2 because that's a combat round that just went by.
Yep.
So I'm going to keep that in mind in the back of my head, but I am going to try to make sure that there's no data bomb or some other such thing on this file.
All right, so you scan the file to see if it has any sort of protection or anything on it. It is not encrypted. We'll skip that for now. It does indeed have a data bomb on it, though.
Oh, interesting.
I should make you roll for that. Let's pretend I did.
Okay. What would I have rolled? Just another...
it would have been another matrix perception test.
Okay,
so you would gain edge from that, too, by the way. So that's important.
Yeah.
So deckers are going to be gaining edge left and right. But about every 2 or 3 actions, they can afford that 4 edge drop, reroll failures, or pre-edge. So that's kind of cool.
Kenji is asking, a brute force access doesn't make the god track you more quickly? It does. You might have missed that part. If I had sleazed my way in, like gone in sneakily, then it wouldn't have. If I'd have set up the backdoor access and gotten in that way, then I'd be able to just walk through here slowly and just try to avoid the ice, and I wouldn't be getting Overwatch score. But because I kicked down the door and brute forced, every single combat turn I'm gaining 2 Overwatch score. So there. Okay, how do I disarm this data bomb?
With the disarm data bomb action, it is oddly enough described as a legal action, like a legal action that uses cracking plus logic.
That's interesting. We'll go with it.
The book said you use all legal actions use electronics and all illegal actions use cracking. But here we have disarm data bomb using cracking as a legal action, and we have control device, which is an illegal action that uses electronics.
Sounds
What gives consistency and streamlining?
Sounds suspiciously like it might have been switcherooed, but we'll go with it, I guess.
So here you're not you're just comparing against the data bomb here. So I don't think there's a defense rating, but I guess you'd get an edge from being hot sim. It's going to hurt more if it goes off too, probably. So you roll cracking plus logic versus double the rating of the data bomb.
Cracking plus logic roll double the rating. Okay, so I have 13 dice. I'll take. I got 4 hits on my roll.
Okay, the data bomb is rating 4. Let's pretend it got 2 hits and does not blow up in your face. You have managed to disarm the data bomb.
All right.
Which prevents it from destroying itself and your deck and your day.
Right.
Now there's only one thing left to do is the edit file action. Normally in 5th edition, you'd have to put a mark on the file and then do it, but that step is just gone. You just have to have user or admin access to the device that hosts the file.
Right. And I do have user access, and I can just grab it.
No, this is a legal action. You still have to roll for it.
Okay.
It's electronics plus logic versus the host rating plus firewall.
All right. So electronics plus logic, I'd probably get. Let's say I didn't get quite as lucky, and I got 3 hits. And there you go.
All right, with 3 hits, that's not quite going to do it. You get another 2 points of Overwatch because another round has gone by and you're up to like in the 20s now. Well, maybe not, but somewhere in there. But you try again, you download the file, and now you're ready to go. All you have to do is exit the host. Normally, no test is required unless you're link locked. Let's just say this is a complicated enough example. You've gone through enough.
Yeah,
you spend a single minor action to exit the host, and you're gone.
Nice. Now let's say I did get Overwatch score. I think if I remember correctly, I think this is a little bit different. But in 5th edition, didn't you? Well, let's just say in 6th edition, when you hit convergence, when your Overwatch score goes up high enough and you are converged upon, that happens like instantly, right?
Yeah, if your Overwatch fills up, let's see here. Your God is reported to the system. Your Matrix device is instantly bricked.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And your physical location is reported to the authorities. And they'll probably send somebody there to have a conversation with you.
Yep. And that's real fast. Instant is real fast.
And that's when the Overwatch score hits 40. That seems to be whether you're in a host or not, which is good because the distinctions were like confusing anyway before. Now it's just straight up simple.
Your
hit 40,
device
you're
is
done.
Bricked. You're dump shocked, and I mean like that's pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Like so like if your device is bricked, your device can't absorb any of your any further damage either.
Right.
It's all physical. Oh no, I guess dump shock is always that way.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody asked about noise. Noise is interference, just like before. Every point of noise is a -1 penalty to the test taken in the Matrix. So it pretty much works like it did before.
That's right.
There can be noise from distance and jamming and spam and GMs being grumpy or any other reason.
Yeah. Grumpy GMs for sure. Well, that's cool. I like the way the Matrix feels. It feels that definitely feels. We've had a lot of conversation about whether things feel faster or streamlined. What we just walked through, the Matrix definitely feels like it's been streamlined and feels faster and cooler to me.
Yeah. So as far as repairing Matrix damage on decks, you can still do that with the engineering skill. No, wait, it's a crap. Hardware's under something else, isn't it? With a skill plus logic. I want to say it's electronics actually, not engineering. And it doesn't cost you any new yen, even if you're 200-some thousand new yen Cyber 6 or whatever. That's not what the cost, but even if you're super expensive, like Fairlight Excalibur is a smoking ruin after getting a convergence on you. All you need is your repair kit and 1 hit per box of damage on an extended test to fix it up, and it's fixed. The drawback is if it's fully bricked and you critically glitch, that's where the decker will want to have a weapon on hand with a single bullet.
Repairing damaged devices is an engineering and logic test.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But hardware is listed as a specialization under electronics, so that's why I was kind of thinking that. But
yeah, on page 175, repairing damaged device is engineering plus logic. Number of boxes equal to 1 hour extended.
Is that for matrix damage or physical damage?
It's matrix damage.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they had a distinction on that.
And it's right after bricked devices.
All right, cool. Good to know.
And you need a toolkit. You can't just finagle it.
No chewing gum and a paper clip, I'm afraid.
And a critical glitch on the repair test means that it'll never work again. Blah, blah, blah.
Hence the Decker having a gun with one bullet handy.
Yeah.
Because you don't come back from that.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. We've got about 25 minutes left. If anybody has something quick, then we can, because we still.
Somebody asked about using bow and arrows. In case you didn't miss it, it is athletics, as is throwing weapons, as are throwing weapons.
Yeah, which honestly, that creates an errata problem with the added power of improved ability, because that has a different skill point, that has a different power point cost based on whether it's a combat or a non-combat skill. If I'm a parkour adept who never throws things at people, why am I paying twice as much for my hoppy jumpy skill? But if I'm an archer, why should I be paying half price for it's a non-combat skill? I'm assuming it would just round up to being a combat skill no matter what, but it seems like that part is like an unanticipated consequence of some of the game design.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's real good. Sorry.
I mean, that's an easy enough call, as a GM.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, listen, are you going to be using that? But I agree with you. Like, rules is written, that would be nice to have.
What if they all of a sudden want to throw a grenade at somebody one day? Like, oops! All of a sudden, your PowerPoint needs to be a half point higher for you to make this throw.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of questions about Technomancers. Is there anything special that you know about Technomancers? Because that's a question that pops up all the time.
Mostly unchanged, honestly. Besides the differences to how the Matrix works a little bit, and they still have their Matrix attributes provided by their mental attributes for the living persona. They can still conjure sprites.
I will say one thing about Technomancers is they have one of their oh, damn it! What are those things? What are their programs called? I can't remember. Forms, right? Complex forms.
Oh yeah, like the spells.
Yeah, for grid. What is it? Grid hopping or something like that. That needs to be eroded because there's no more.
There's no grids.
Yeah, so that's one thing about Technomancers that I was particularly made aware of. But
yeah, grids have gone the way of bathrooms. They still exist in the world, but nobody talks about when your character uses them.
Yep, and hallelujah. I will say that's somewhat my fault.
All right, sorry about that.
But see, other things with one thing that I thought was a little bit odd with Technomancers is you'd think that with the way they had like sprites and spirits had like parallel rules basically in 5th edition, they haven't in 6th. The mage summoning stuff changed a bunch, but sprites are pretty much the same as what they were. So, like, you can still call up as many sprites as you did before, pretty much. You could still register them. The registering still works, even though mages lost binding.
Yeah, they did. We are at $3,800 for the fundraiser. That's 95% of the way to our goal, guys. We are doing amazing. For this show, we only need $10 more to meet our soft goal for this show. So if someone could go buy some raffle tickets, which would be a great thing to do because in about 10 minutes, I'm going to raffle off that box set,
Ooh.
6th edition box set. It's going to be the one that it was donated by Aaron Burser, who might be in the chat room right now.
So it's been opened and the dice have been removed, but they've been replaced with different dice that are the same.
The last time that I said we are almost at our goal, we only have so much more to our goal, Bobby came down on me and said, don't talk about it like that. Instead, say, we are 2,200 away from our stretch goal.
Oh, we're so far from making our goal, guys.
Yeah, you're right.
We're gonna get there.
So Bobby, why don't you?
We're 2,000 to go.
Why don't you check yourself?
We are 200 away from our early milestone that leads us to our ultimate goal.
We're almost to our keep the lights on goal.
Yeah, exactly.
We are $2,200 away from our highest stretch goal.
Yep.
Which we encourage everyone to single-handedly meet.
Yeah.
But if you can't, donate, whatever denominations of $500 you can.
Yeah, because it really wouldn't be hard. All we got to do is get about 4 or 5 people who want to get a character made and put into the Optiverse. Isn't that
That's right. With $500, you can, with your $500 donation, a paltry $500.
That's right.
You will get to join with the Optiverse creators and make your own character. I will run that game for you and your friends with you at the center, and then we will make your character into some sweet art, and you will be featured on all of our Optiverse art from now on. Yes. I mean, not every single piece, but like when we do the montages and maybe when we have special guests and, throw your character up there to say, hi, I'm this character.
That's right. So that's actually, I think that's a pretty special thing. Let's see.
Or you and your friends each throw in $250 and say you want the $500.
Hey, there you go.
I do want to say there was one goal that we had in place that we did not meet, and that was to hit our keep the lights on 4,000 goal before the Stream-a-Thon started. I would release the Pirates actual play campaign in full to the public, as GM'd by Carlton Hayes, who also made Exploding Dice. Really fun campaign. It's complete. We finished it. The story was great. It was a lot of fun. I played a Technomancer, pirate captain.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not released to the public, but I do want to say, though, just sneak in a little plug for my Patreon.
Yeah, for sure.
Our lowest support level on Patreon, just the $2 a month, that gives you access to all of the entire library of our created content, and we've got those as special secret podcast feeds now, so you don't have to download them off a website and somehow get them into your thing. No, you can just plug a special RSS feed with the password we give you into your podcatcher and download them and play them just like any other podcast. So we've got the Lone Star campaign.
That is so much better.
The Pirates campaign. Yeah, Carlton figured out how to do that. He's just amazing. We have the Black Star campaign, which is ongoing still. I'm just about to start dropping episodes from our Anarchy Ghouls campaign. So lots and lots of content you can get for just the $2 up level. And if you want to, you can just jump in there, donate $2, download all that stuff, and cancel and move on with your life and get all that for super cheap. I won't even be salty. That's perfectly valid.
Right.
So yeah, if you're feeling bad about missing out on that Pirates campaign, you don't have to. It's the buy-in is super cheap.
Yeah.
And that's patreon.com/Arcology podcast. But I don't want to drop the link in the thing because, donate money to the Shadowcasters fundraiser.
Yeah, but definitely check that out if you're interested in those actual plays. There's some other things that we're going to be giving away Shadowrun stuff. I'm just going to talk about the fundraiser for a second before I do the drawing here in a minute. Actually, real quick before I do that, because we got just a couple minutes, there was a little question that popped up. It just said, did adept powers get a lot of changes? I don't know anything about the adept powers, so I can't.
I created an adept.
Ooh. Did they get a lot of changes?
looking at the adept powers in the core book, it looks a lot like the adept power section from the 5th edition core book. A lot of the same powers are still there. A lot of the weird ones that give you, different ways adepts can do things, different ways of looking at adepts are mostly absent. It's mostly seems to be designed with the physical adept in mind rather than all the different kind of weird stuff, though it does seem to have wiggle room for doing weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the powers, a lot of them have been reworked to fit the new edition rules somewhat. Like the increased reflexes kind of works like wired reflexes does, but it's an adept power, so that's kind of the same. I mentioned the skill based one that you use to, I think it's called improved ability. That has 2 different costs depending whether it's a combat or a non-combat skill. There's a few in here that I liked a lot. Let's see, astral perception is still a thing, costs you a whole PowerPoint. I kind of wish they just given adepts astral perception as a thing without a PowerPoint, but well. Attribute boost pretty much works the same short-term boost you take drain for later. Enhanced accuracy is kind of interesting. It adds to the attack rating of any weapon you wield by 2 for a half PowerPoint. I'm not sure if that's worth it or not. And Mystic armor costs less because the armor pretty much doesn't do anything for you, except for sometimes gets you an edge, maybe. I mean, it does help in Astral, but not as much anymore because you're just using your body. Killing Hands is actually really useful because it lets you do stun damage or physical damage. And if you have dermal deposits, or I don't know why you haven't added with bone lacing, but if you have if you're a troll, your unarmed damage always does physical rules as written. So we have a troll adept in the archaeology game played by Carlton. He used Killing Hands to make his unarmed attack do stun damage.
Wow.
Without having to do a called shot penalty thing. So that was kind of funny.
This just in, we have just officially reached $4,070 on our Stream-a-Thon.
Was that like a big donation somebody just did?
There was a big donation of $200 that was just dropped in by Matthew Runyon. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That is awesome. You put us over the top. Now we can start talking and thinking about.
You just mumbled his name there. This guy
sorry.
just put it over the top. So say it loud and proud here.
Matthew Runyon, thank you so much. That is a huge donation. I can't even talk. It's a huge donation. And thank you a lot. That put us. That just made my 20 hours.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, it feels so good.
You know what? I feel like we have not celebrated hitting the goal well enough. Like I feel like we kind of just understated.
Yeah, we just crossed the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just actually like yeah.
Yes.
Like
you're right.
Woo!
We did! I have something else to make noise around here.
I'm so excited, and
Chat,
I
can't
always
hear you.
show it so much on the outside.
Oh man.
I was actually typing something else, and I kind of only heard Bobby from my periphery, and I was like, yeah, something crossed the goal line, whatever.
You're right.
And then when it goes like, wait.
Yeah, Dirk, I like this. Let's do 2 drawings.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's do
that.
it.
Bonus
Let's do it.
drawing.
Let's
and
do that.
something else cool. I mean, they're all cool, but
Yeah, let's do it.
How about I give away I have some Green Ronin stuff I can give away. Would that be cool?
Yeah,
Would that be cool,
that-
we
Alice?
should save that for Optiverse later, though.
Actually, that's actually a really
But
good. Go.
it's actually not Optiverse related. It's not Mutants
okay.
Masterminds. It's like it's the other stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Let
So
me
what
see
is
if I
it?
can find it. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
do
Keep
it.
talking. I'll be right back. Be right back.
I will. We'll give away the box set last on this. Let's start with. Speaking of We're talking about 6th edition, right? Let's give away what I'm calling the PDF bundle. It's a PDF bundle that I'm calling the SR6 Beginner Bundle. It includes the digital version of the Beginner box set as well as a digital copy of No Future and Streetpedia. So let's do that.
Oh, cool.
So let's.
I'm super excited about Streetpedia in particular because that's like my RPG writing debut. Like I'm
Yeah, that's
officially
awesome.
published now. And like I wrote a whole novella like a year and a half ago, but this is the first one to actually hit print.
Okay, so I have a modern AGE core rules and a fantasy AGE core rules.
All right. Let's see. Let's do this first. 102. And it goes to Zachariah Wallace, this PDF bundle. That's the second thing that Zachariah Wallace has won in our raffle. That's proof positive right there that that it's not hard to win multiple things. Congratulations if you're in the chat room. If not, we'll be getting in touch with Zachariah.
Yes, does that box set come with digital dice? And I want to say yes.
Digital
Just about
dice.
any place where Shadowrun is played on Discord, you'll probably find a dice bot called Exploding Dice. And you can use square brackets with a number in the middle to roll dice for Shadowrun.
Yeah.
It'll tell you how many hits you got, whether or not you glitched. Lots of other cool stuff, initiative tracking. You can even do exploding dice on it and all sorts of neat things. Like just the programming level is amazing. There's even like a master index for all Shadowrun products, including, I believe, Streetpedia has been added.
Streetpedia was just added this week. Yeah.
I'm feeling so generous that we're just going to throw in exploding dice for free for everyone.
It's a free thing, right? So, but you can even add it to your own service easily. Just search up Exploding Dice. He also has a Patreon. You can suggest features, and it's a really good thing to support. He's added something in where I don't know if it's quite there for 6th edition yet, but I know he's working on it, and it's there for 5th, where you can plug in your characters' information into the system, kind of like a Roll20 character sheet, and have it track things and roll dice and set up macros. It's as you can dip your toes in and just roll some dice, or you can go all the way in with the initiative tracker and the character sheet stuff. It's I want to say probably the best digital tool that has been designed for role-playing games, period, at least for Shadowrun. But it's also for Earth Dawn and Middle-earth role-playing and other stuff, too. So
all right, so
I can't say enough good things about my friend Carlton's Exploding Dice bot.
Yeah. You definitely proselytize for that. It's but it's great. It's awesome. It's super feature rich. Opti, what are the two things that you said again?
We have Green Ronin's Fantasy Age core rules and Green Ronin's Modern Age core rules.
Are we doing those separately or together?
Whatever you want. This feels like maybe somebody can have both. How about that?
Sounds good
maybe
to me.
Pick a person, and we'll
because you need both of those together to do a Shadowrun mashup.
That's true. If anybody wants to do a Green Ronin, AGE Age core rules mashup of Shadowrun, please let us.
All right, well, let's do it then. Let's roll those dice and find out, or spin the wheel, or whatever the analogy is going to be, to find out who won that. Doing another giveaway. Let's see. It is drum roll. Going to be James Barnum.
Hey, James Barnum! Congratulations.
Woo!
Yeah.
I bet you Palmer for a moment there was like, oh, really? Oh, crap.
No, Palmer doesn't get anything. James Barnum. How do I get this stuff to James Barnum?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you their email address and their name, and you'll be able to get in touch with them that way. Okay?
Cool.
I sounded really weird just in, okay?
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do, what's our time? Let's go ahead and do two more things.
Small anecdote.
Yes.
If you've ever seen Pokemon, there's a show on television called Pokemon.
Yes.
And ostensibly there's a bad guy who works for Team Rocket. His name is James. And he's got like this really cool accent. James, right?
Yeah.
And he has this Pokemon. This is, by the way, this story's going to suck. The end is going to suck. Just preparing everybody. But he's got this Pokemon called Inkay, right? And the way that James says it, it's like, Inkay. Like that. And so...
I love Team Rocket.
I once
me too. And James is my favorite.
long-running D&D character that was a rogue/sorcerer. No, a rogue/bard. That was completely based off of James.
I annoyed the hell out of the players who had not Pokemon. And I'm pretty sure my GM as well, because at one point I had the entire Thieves Guild of a city trying to kill me while I was running through the streets singing songs, and it was fun. Good times.
So James rules, but the point is that the way that James says "okay," like whenever my kids say, like whenever I say "okay" or "inkay" or like whatever, all of us reply back with "inkay." So like when you said "inkay," I was like "inkay," and I couldn't help it. And now you have my story. So now whenever somebody says "inkay," you just say "inkay," that's it. Yeah.
All right, so the next thing we're
going to do. That story was going to suck.
It was heartwarming. I loved it. Let's give away one more thing before the physical beginner box set, which is the Shadowrun leather dice bag. One of the leather dice bags that is being donated by Eric DeMage, who's donated tons of Shadowrun stuff that he picked up at Origins. And these leather dice bags look really neat. I saw only pictures of them, but I'm sure did you guys get to see them at Origins? They've got Shadowrun stuff on them. And
no,
cool.
I didn't, because I didn't get to Origins this year, Bobby.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in.
Yourself, you know.
Yeah, I got to see everything.
Yeah, cool. So that one is gonna go to drum roll. I need to get like an actual drum. Like I need to get a drum in here, and then learn how to do a drum roll. It's gonna go to Thomas Cool, who is also someone who's run twice on our Stream-a-Thon. So I'm telling you guys, it's not hard to win. Get yourself some raffle tickets. You're going to get a Shadowrun leather dice bag. We'll be getting in touch with you via email, getting all that information. So awesome. Thank you. Now, finally, let's do it. The Shadowrun 6th edition beginner box set that has been opened because Aaron Burser collects dice and wanted to take those dice out of it, but who also very graciously, Sarah Kraus, good friend of ours with Rem Alterni's Productions, has decided that she's going to take her dice set, which has the exact same dice, and she's going to throw that back in and replace those for somebody. So anyway, it was a long way to say that you're just getting an open version of this thing, which is looking really good.
It's like reconstituted orange juice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. Somewhat belated on this, but regarding the James conversation, I think one of my favorite things about the character James is, at least with the English dubbing, is the character's complete inability to say the word butch correctly.
Like, how does he say it?
Butch.
Butch.
It comes up that much.
It has come up, and if you he cannot. I don't think they pointed out too much, but I mean, like
how often can Pokemon use the word butch?
Well, there's those two like competent Team Rocket people. One of them is named Butch, and I forget the other one.
It's just like,
and James cannot say the word Butch because because James is not straight enough to be able to say the word Butch.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
And James, honestly, James is so like greatly queer in that show. Yeah. Like from start to finish.
The flaming outfit with the bird. Right, I forget the name of the Pokemon.
He's really great. And if you note, we're taking a real big detour here, but James treats his Pokemon better than any other single trainer. Like Ash says he treats his Pokemon well, but like honestly, he puts them away for like years at a time. But
Ash the dog
James, James treats his Pokemon so really well, and like I don't know him, and I just love James. He's probably the best thing about Pokemon.
So speaking of our good friend that we were joking about earlier, the winner of the box set is, you guessed it, James Palmer this time. Palmer wins the
James
one of the two box sets. So congratulations, man. You get it. And we've got one more unopened box set that we're going to be giving away later on today. So definitely get your raffle tickets in. You want to get in a beginner box set. It doesn't just come with the quick start rules. It comes with item and ability cards, maps, some other books. I don't even know everything that's in it. Some dice, apparently, if it's unopened. Yeah, so that's awesome. Well, we've reached the end of this section, and the next thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to just pause for a minute, go on a break screen for about 2 or 3 minutes so I can splash some water on my face, refill my coffee cup, and then come back, and I'm just going to, with you guys, stumble through the beginnings of making a Shadowrun 6th edition character and see how far we get, and just play around with it. We can talk. I'll get some feedback from you guys. How do you want me to do this or that? And I'm going to try to put like a spreadsheet that I made of a character sheet type thing on the screen so you guys can see it at the same time. But stick around. It's going to be just some hanging out, talking about Shadowrun, and just a little casual since I'm struggling to be awake right now.
Leave the stream on. I want to talk Pokemon with the chat.
And Bobby, make sure you don't like sit down or lay down during your process of like this 2 or 3 minutes. Otherwise, it might be an unexpectedly longer break.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'll keep it up if you want to chit chat with people until I get back, and then we'll start some character creation.
Or if you want to, I can just switch to my OBS, whatever you want.
I'm gonna wander off because I've got a wedding reception to get ready for. So
yeah, all right. See you
I
later.
will see you after I get back from that later tonight.
Yeah, see you later. No. I'm gonna keep streaming this, so just keep talking. That's not a problem at all. Keep people entertained. They love talking to you. So.
Yeah. Okay.
See you later.
So bye everybody, or bye you guys. Hey chat, let's talk Pokemans.
Hold on. I gotta fix you.
Guess we're not. I guess we're just gonna.
No, you're. I'm just fixing you. Hold on.
I'm on the right track, Bobby. I was born this way.
You make my laugh sound dumb, or my lack of sleep makes my laugh sound dumb.
You can't. Don't blame me for that.
Yeah, it's your fault. Let's see. I'm gonna switch this up like this, and we'll make that happen. There you go. All right, I'll be right back.
Cool. I don't think I have a lot to say about Pokemon, but other than I'm going to be playing Sword and Shield. I had meant to stream Let's Go Eevee when it first came out, but then I just got too busy. So yeah, like Allie, like can we? I think is it Sword and Shield? Can you like team up with people? Because like if so, we should totally stream Sword and Shield together. That would be pretty dope. Sword and Shield is the next Pokemon game coming out, I think in November, which is about the time that like I go into hibernation mode and play video games for about 2 months, right around Thanksgiving. And there's a couple of really cool Pokemon. There's like a new Crow Pokemon. I can't remember what it was called. Something like Crow Knight or Corviknight or something like that, which is pretty dope. So yeah, my Bulbasaur and my Eevee, and it'll be great. Yeah, let's just get everybody. Corviknight, I was right. Crokemon. No, that's not it. There's already a Crow Pokemon, which is actually pretty cool. That I can't even remember the damn name of it. Murkrow. And but he turns into some stupid looking, dumb Pokemon. Some kind of like pompous. Anyway, Murkrow's awesome, but he's really not competitive at all. And by the way, Honchkrow. No, I hate Honchkrow. But I remember like spending literally like months on breeding Pokemon and getting just the right team and training them up, and it's just super, super awesome. And then like getting involved in the competitive play, right, where you like fight everybody else worldwide, and just getting my ass stomped like hard, like even in like the ranks that they put me in, right? Because like, oh, you based on your rank, you should be here. And like I just got my ass stomped so hard that it made me not want to play Pokemon anymore. So I put it down for a while. But yeah, it was pretty awful. I don't know why I sucked so bad at that after playing Pokemon. Like literally playing every Pokemon game like from the beginning, and yet still apparently I really suck at Pokemon. So I don't know don't know what the problem is there. Maybe I need some people to help me out. Draco Desu. Since I worked on Kill Code, are Technomancers usable in the core through 6th ed? In core 6, Technomancers are definitely there. Absolutely. I don't know how much got pulled over from Kill Code into 6th ed. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but it doesn't look like, at least in some areas, that the people who were working on 6th ed had a great read through of Kill Code. So maybe some of the things from Kill Code can be brought into the next Matrix book. I don't know. Yeah, thank you for that. I didn't write a whole bunch of the Technomancer stuff, but I was involved in passing along a lot of notes from the fans and from the community as far as what people wanted from Technos. But yeah, if there's something that you liked that was in Kill Code, it's probably not going to be in the core book, but it probably will be in the next Matrix book, or at least I'll try to make that happen for you.
All right, I'm here.
So basically, me and Allie just decided that we were going to live stream Sword and Shield with a bunch of buddies.
Do what you got to do.
And then maybe we can get Palmer on there, if for no other reason other than to be able to say James over and over and over and over.
I'm in, all in.
Really? Are you? Because I've never heard you talk about Pokemon until just now.
Really? No, I mean I love Pokemon. Yeah.
Like Pokemon Go or like real Pokemon? Oh, that was so elitist. I'm so sorry. I just said that.
No, yeah, real Pokemon. I mean, I like them both. Yeah. I play Pokemon Go all the time.
So, yeah, I'm really sorry for anybody who only plays Pokemon Go. I did not mean that to come across shitty. Sorry.
Yeah, but we know what you meant, as in the mainline Pokemon games. But yeah, I like them. I like them all.
Yeah, I like the RPG Pokemon, the core RPG Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah. Did you play that one on the Switch? Let's Go?
I did. Yeah, I got far enough, and then I don't know, life happened.
That's kind of what happened to me.
Network crap.
I got Snorlax. I got Snorlax to move, and then I kind of got distracted.
No, I beat the whole thing, and I was right up to the point where I was about to get Mewtwo, and I was just like, I got stuff to do, and then I never came back to it.
Yeah, I think I did the tower, the big tower. Actually, it's the last thing.
But I do my Eevee looks so friggin' cute. I want to adopt it.
Yeah.
It's got like a punk haircut and glasses like mine. It looks like a little girl version of me as a fox.
Easy to imagine.
Right? Like imagine Opti as a fox
and a girl. Yeah.
It was cute as hell.
Eevee is the best. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say people want to see. I'm assuming people want to see Shadowrun stuff. So, let's. All
right, I'm banging out of here because I got not better things to do, but
of just other things to do.
I got things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right, thanks, Opti.
See you later, everybody.
All right, let's go. Let's do what we gotta do here. Whoa, that's a weird effect there in the background. All right, I'm gonna switch over to one person, Bobby, with a screen, and I'm gonna try to crop some of this down so that you guys don't have to look at some of this ugly stuff. It's not bad, it's just not good either to look at, that's all. So yeah, this is gonna be relatively compared to what you were just watching, it's gonna be relatively casual. I'm gonna walk through creating a character. I've done this only one time, so I'm by no means an expert, but I am going to we're gonna do it together, and we're gonna have fun doing it. Why is this acting the way it's acting? I gotta press this button first. How are you guys enjoying things so far? Man, I can't believe we hit that 4,000 goal as early as we did. I have to be honest. I didn't think we would reach it as soon that soon. So let's make this a little bigger. And normally I would do a lot of this stuff ahead of time so that you wouldn't have to watch me mess with it. It's just a little spreadsheet I made for a character I play called Rooster, and I took all the stuff out. And let's hide this. All right, now I have time to look at the chat. So, loving the Stream-a-Thon, says Digitali. Am I saying that right? Because I know it's Allison, so I assume it would be Allie and then Digitali. Yeah. And yeah, getting ready for the Sprawl. She's going to be playing the Sprawl in less than an hour. So you guys stick around for that. Let's do it. Let's start. Let's start making a... Oh, you guys are nice. We love you, Bobby. Thank you so much. Love you guys too. I don't get to stream as much as I used to, and life is busy, and that's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. We got kids in school and do lots with that, and I'm about to be, if you guys hear me just chit-chatting about things all the time, you probably heard me say I'm about to be the homeroom parent next year for my my daughter's first grade class. They were calling them classroom moms, but then they started, when I said I was going to do it, they started calling them homeroom parents, and I was like, look, man, it's okay. I'll be the classroom mom. It's not a big deal. But anyway, let's see. So, character creation. Let's talk about character creation. There's a lot to the chapter in character creation, but I'm not doing a review of the book, so I'm skipping that part. We're just going to get to how it works. All right. There's a lot about in the book. They actually talk a lot before you start creating your character. Is they emphasize looking at the background of your character a good bit before you go into making your character, which I like. I like that that's something they've decided to focus on, and because it is a role-playing game, so I do personally think that that's a good focus to have. So what you have to do is Shadowrun 6th edition has the priority system. Just like 5th edition started with the priority system, you're going to have your different priorities, metatypes, attributes, metatype, attributes, skills, magic or resonance, and resources, just like you're used to seeing in 5th edition, and you're going to set priorities to each of them. The relative importance you want your character to place on those things, and you have to select A, B, C, D, or E. So I'm assuming, I have no idea, but I'm assuming that additional character creation methods, like my favorite sum to 10, will be in subsequent books. Yes, thanks for the bits there for the character creation. I would encourage people to we are still working on our fundraiser. I would encourage people to donate to the fundraiser, but I have to get a thing to, if somebody links it before me, that'd be heroic. There's a fundraiser we're doing, and for the Stream-a-Thon, and we just hit our main goal, but we thank you, original box set, Cassie. Yeah, we're at $4,070, and we're aiming for our first stretch goal of $4,500, which would be to revamp our website, which badly needs it. So, all right, let's jump in. So we need to. What kind of character do we want to make? I've made a combat specialist, like a firearms specialist, but I haven't made like a melee specialist or an infiltration person. I haven't made a mage. I haven't made a decker. I've only made the rooster, the guns guy that I have, the cybered out, sort of like a gun Street Sam you could think about. So what do we want to do? You want to make a melee character? We could do a melee physical adept. Let's do it that way. I'm gonna go with the quickest responses because we don't have time to. We only have about 40 minutes left before I need to wrap it up, and so I don't want to spend too much time entertaining democracy here in the chat room. Priority table is what we're looking at. So what we want to do, I'm going to try to, let's look at this priority table in the book. I'm going to see if I can get away with doing this. I don't know if I'm allowed, but I'm going to show you the priority table in the book so that we can all be looking at the same thing here. I'm failing at using Adobe Acrobat. Here we go. Here's the priority table. It's very familiar. Just some of the numbers might be a little bit different. So if we're going to do a melee physical adept, then what we're going to have to figure out is what priorities we want on things like metatype, attributes, skills, magic and resonance, and resources. Resources can presumably be a little bit lower, down maybe a D, which would give us 50,000 new yen. We want to have a little bit of money to buy weapons, but it might be able to be an E too, because I think it's a little bit easier to get money at the end. But we'll see. We'll see. If we're going to do a physical adept, we probably need to look at magic and resonance first, which is if we go A, we can be an adept with 4. I guess is that a magic of 4? I think that's a magic of 4. I don't 5 magic 4. But I'm not. I like I said, I haven't made a magical character yet. So let's look at what those things mean real fast. Let's see. I told you this was going to be casual and us figuring it out together. So magic and resonance, we're going to use it to figure out. Let's take a look at the options. Each selection beyond that provides magic attributes between 1 and 5. So that's what those things were, generally differing based on the type of character you're building. So that's what we're looking at. What do we want? We want a really cool adept with a priority A. What do you think? Let's just do it. Magic 4 adept. Yeah. Let's do it. Why not? Magic adept for magic. Yeah. So priority A. We're going with it. Where should we keep track of our priorities? This spreadsheet is not built for that. So let's go priorities right here. So we'll say magic is A, or watch Bobby figure out how to format a spreadsheet. So we'll go with magic A. We'll also want some. What about our attributes? If we get an attributes of B, we'll have 16 attributes. If we get attributes of C, we'll have 12. Now, there's something really interesting with attributes this time, and it has to do with metatypes and how metatypes work now. I'm going to show you this table real fast. Metatypes work a little bit differently now. This is the metatypes attribute table. Now, what you'll notice here is that, like humans, like you would expect, go from, this is your minimum, your range, 1 to 6. Now, your dwarf can have a body of up to 7 and a reaction down to 5, 8, 7, all that kind of stuff, right? You've got ups and down little things. So what the way this works is up here in the priority table, in metatype table, you've got each priority gives you access to certain metatypes. A would give you access to dwarf or control, which is already a little bit different. Like before, A would have just given you access to anything, right? But there's this little number in parentheses, which are adjustment points. So not only do you get access to these things, but you also get, with A, you would get 13 adjustment points. Now, what do the adjustment points do? Basically, what they do is they allow you to, I want to read this right. I don't want to get it wrong. Adjustment points are used to modify magic and resonance, purchase edge, and enhance the special racial attributes. Each metatype has 2 or more that can be outside the base range. So those numbers that we looked at before, those numbers we were looking at earlier, are I just have to make sure this isn't an emergency thing that I'm being messaged about, because they like to message me. I'm very distracted today. I apologize. All right. So magic attribute. So those attribute ranges that I was showing you before, that are not the normal 1 to 6. So like with an orc, you've got body is 1 to 8, strength is 1 to 8, and charisma is 1 to 5. Those things that are not the normal range of 1 to 6, you can use adjustment points to adjust only those attributes. So if you go with orc, or let's say you go with troll, you get metatype A, and you get 13 adjustment points, and you go with a troll. Well, that's body, agility, because even though it goes down, it's still agility, strength, and charisma. You now have 13 points that you can use to adjust to increase your body, agility, strength, and charisma. Because regardless of what metatype you pick, all of your attributes start at 1. They don't start at like higher values like they did before. So they give you these extra points that you can use. So it's kind of like you have 2 separate pools to build your attributes with. You've got your attribute points, which you set a priority at, and you've got your metatype adjustment points that you get to use as well. So that adds a little bit of like finagly number min-maxy opportunity there. So yeah. So we already have everybody's throwing all their priorities in the thing. I'm not even paying attention. Magic A, attributes B, troll C, resources D, skills E. That's what skills E. Okay, you want him to have 1 skill, which is melee combat. So let's see. I'm gonna say, let's go with attributes. Do we want an? People keep saying orcs and trolls. Do we want an orc or a troll physical adept? Orc. Let's go with orc. People are saying orc. Let's go with an orc physical adept. I think edge is a strong attribute, but we have cool ways to get it in combat, so I don't think we have to have a huge edge pool. Maybe 3 or so would be good to have as an edge attribute. So that's what we would use this on. But if we want our magic to go up too, we'd have to spend that. So would C be enough? Let's say we have 2 and then 2 more. That would leave us with like 5 attribute adjustment points. I think C is good. Metatype C. Orc C. What do you guys think? I think. That's what I think. Let's do that. C. Metatype orc. All right, so what do we want B, D, and E to be? We're gonna get somewhere with this. You're just getting a good look at how this part of it works, I suppose. I think next thing we look at is skills and attributes. Oh, so that's the question, right? I want to mess with putting resources at E. I think I'm going to do resources at E, because I think there are some ways for us to get resources in the rest of the process, if I remember correctly. So the question is, do we want more attributes or more skills? I tend to lean towards what Draco Desu is saying, and I think other people, which is get attributes higher and skills a little bit lower. Skills you can learn later, right? More easily than attributes. It feels like you use the best, most efficient use of your build points, so to speak, or to get the attributes early, because it's much more expensive to build up with karma. So I say, I agree. Attributes B. Attributes B. Let's make sure we're noting these things too. Like we're gonna get with this, we're gonna get 4. Let's say adept 4. Attributes B is gonna give us 16 attribute points. 16 attribute points. And skills. Oh, 16 skills too. Attributes B, skills D. It's the 16-16 combo. What is this guy talking about? This is what you get with 20 hours and 25 minutes of streaming. Okay, that's where we're at. That's a good start, don't you think? All right. Just taking a look. All right, so we're in a good place to start. So next thing we're gonna do is go on with the next section. So we figured out what our priorities are going to be. Now, of course, presumably, our good friend over at Chummer, I guess it's going to be called Chummer 6 now. Whoa, that's a thing. Chummer, the Chummer character creation program probably will do its thing. It'll make this a lot easier, and I like it. Priorities are something that I agonize over a lot because it's hard for me to feel like it's shaking out quite. I tend to be a min-maxer when I'm building characters. Probably not as much right now because I'm just trying to do it. But I tend to want a character to start in a really strong place, so because I don't want to care about making my character better. You know what I mean? I don't ever play in campaigns. I don't get to play Shadowrun. I want to make that character really good and strong right from the get-go, because I'm probably never going to get to advance him anyway. So, and I want to roleplay strong and not have to worry about those things. Who cares? So I want to make him glass cannons a lot of times, and you know, whatever. So I do like to agonize over the priority list. So after you've done the priority table, select priorities, then let's go down the list. First we did adept 4. That means we have a magic rating of 4. So boom, that's it, done. Chummer Jim says, I don't think my characters live long enough to advance via traditional means. Yeah, you live in that sweet runner lifestyle, hard and fast. Moving on. Attributes 16. So the way attributes work, baseline attributes range start at 1 and can go up to 6. So basically everyone starts at, let's see, the meta-type attributes for range, yeah, so everything starts at a 1. Except for Edge. I don't think Edge does. Make sure that that's true. Yeah. All right. All right. So some things to keep in mind about attributes is during character creation, only one attribute may be at the maximum for the selected meta type. That's typical. That was the same at same as 5th edition. And let's see. As described, attributes fall into 3. All metahuman characters have a rank in each of their physical and mental attributes, but some may not have ranks in the special attributes. Yes. Well, we'll look at that in a minute. Let's assign these 16 points. So I'm an orc, and I'm going to be a melee combatant, and if I remember correctly, strength doesn't do much of anything. So if you wanted to min-max, you could say, don't worry about the strength. But let's put 1 in strength, at least. Oh, why did I do that? I need to, my spreadsheet here, I have auto-calculating all this stuff. So we'll start with base here as like this. And this is supposed to be 4. And this is supposed to come down here like this. Okay. So I'm putting them in here on the spreadsheet and they're going over here. So we'll put in strength we'll put a 1, so that's a 2 there. Body what do you say? Strength only matters for unarmed. I don't even know if it matters for unarmed anymore. I think it might only matter for lifting things. In 6th edition. I could be wrong about that. But I pretty much believe that that's right because there's been a lot of snafu about it. I think your unarmed combat is based on your agility. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Let's look it up. Man. Feeling so tired. Unarmed combat. Oh, then this is astral combat. Let's go back. Previous. Unarmed attack rating. I don't know. It seems like a simple thing, right? Like I should already know this. Reaction and intuition are for your initiative, just like before. Close combat. Let's see. Okay, so are you near someone? Are you trying to whether you're punching or stabbing or whatever, close combat plus agility versus reaction plus intuition. And your damage is based on what? That's what we're trying to figure out, is what is your damage based on? Can you guys tell that I'm super tired? Full details and comment, go to chapter 104. Page 104. Let's do it. Combat round, defense boost, damage value, weapon armor, characteristic attack range, close, yes, defense boost, damage value. It'd be good if I could figure out what I'm talking about. Combat options, offhand attacks, knockdown, grapple, attacker, defender. I just want to look up like punching. All right. Let's see. We'll go with a strength of 3 for now, and it would be embarrassing to have less than that. We'll go with an agility of, since I'm an adept, I want to have an agility of at least 4. Let's start there. So right now we've spent 5 of our 16 points. Body needs to be like at least a 4. That gives us 8. So we spent half of them. Reaction, we want to be fast, right? Reaction of if we do 5, no, let's go with 4. That gives us 5 more points to spend. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's see where we are. We've added 3 here, plus 3 here is 6, plus 3 here is 9, plus 2 is 11, plus 1 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that gives us a body of 4, an agility of 4, a reaction of 4, strength 3, willpower and logic 2, charisma 2, intuition of 3. So that's a place to start. All right, let's look at it that way. But we have, if you recall, 9 special attribute points that we can mess with. And because we chose meta-type priority of C, that gives us 9 of these adjustment points. Bobby, strength divided by 2. Gave the damage code, strength divided by 2. Okay, thanks, Bob. Okay. So then then my strength is 3 right now. Maybe I should make that higher. We'll revisit. Orc, because my body and my strength are those adjustment attributes, and my charisma as an orc. So I can spend some of those 9 points on those attributes. Let's go ahead and boost my magic up to at least, let's do a 5 right now. So that gives me 8 more points. Edge to 4. I mean, 4 is a good place to start, I guess. But I think I'm thinking about 3. Okay, edge starts at a 1. So let's why do I keep doing that? We'll go with 5 here. Let's go 3 here. So that uses 3 of my points. I have 6 of them left. The reason I say edge 3 is because I think there's some good fun ways to gain edge in combat. So I want a character that I feel like can gain and spend edge. I'm going to try to take advantage of that. We'll see how it works out, though. I can increase my body if I wanted to, and my strength. Let's take... so right now we've spent 2 and 1 here, and that's 3. So we have 6 left. If we put 2 of those 6 in strength, then we'll have a strength of 5. And we have 4 left. We can put one of them... Well, who cares about charisma, right? Put one of them in body. So that gives us 3 left. You know what we could do is we could put... we could put another one into strength and another one into body. No, not body. So we have another one into strength. We can't boost agility with our adjustment attributes, but we can reduce our strength and shift one of the regular attribute points over in there. I'm probably confusing everybody. So we do that, and then we could do that. Then it gives us one more. I'm already realizing I should make this. So 1, 2. This spreadsheet look a little bit different. 1, 2, 3. Let's do this. I need to make this look different. I apologize. Boom, boom. So this needs to start with a base of 1. I'm going to put the adjustment stuff into here. So we'll go 1 so that it's easier for me to look at. 2. We'll say 2 here. That's 5. 4 more, right? So we'll put 1 here. That's 3 more that we can spend. Put 1 here. Drop that down to 2. Drop this up to 5. So we're looking at strength of 5, 4, 6, 7. We still have 2 more that we can spend, guys. Let's make him faster. Let's make him even faster. Or, I mean, even stronger. We have 2 more we can spend, so let's put 4 in there like that, and I am okay with putting this at a 1 and getting that agility up a little bit more. What do you think? How's that look? Yeah. Woo, using the adjustment column for adjustments. Strength divided by 2 rounded up, I believe. So I like the way that looks. Body 5, agility 6, reaction 4. I wish my intuition was higher, actually. What if we drop the agility down to 5 and intuition up to 4? Give me a little bit more. Although reaction plus intuition, it's good. It's a good starting point, but you can spend edge to bump your position up in the initiative, right? So that's that. I think that looks good. It feels well rounded. Feels good. That's the attributes. We are an orc. And what about our skills? I don't have these skills. I just put those in there. So we need skills. Skills are so much easier now, guys, because there are much fewer skills. it's so much easier to figure out what skills you want. So we have 16 points. Let's look at the skills. It's real simple. You want to see the list? Let's look at the list. Let's look at the list, guys. There's the list of skills. It fits nicely right there. So we're gonna need to get certainly athletics. Athletics does a lot of things. A lot of these do a lot of things. Well, of course, we'll need close combat. So let's go ahead and note that close combat. Yeah. Then we're gonna need perception, of course. Perception. I think athletics is a no-brainer. Athletics. We'll need what this guy wants to be able to do a little bit of stealthy stuff, right? Stealth. Remember, we're only got an attribute skills of 16, so this or one more skill would be what we're looking at. I think this feels good. Perception, maybe outdoors, but do we have enough skill points to justify that? I don't know. Should we give him a firearm skill? What do you think? I don't know. I say we make him what he is. He doesn't know much about guns. This guy is a melee fighter. We don't have many skill points to mess around with, you know? Like if we put 4 in each of these, then we're spent. You know? That's no specializations, nothing. So yeah, close combat is, I think, agility. And yeah, so we need to do our linked attributes. Close combat is agility. I think all the combat skills are agility. But it's linked to agility. Agility. And then perception is going to be, I'm sure, linked to intuition. I wish that chart had it on there. Linked attribute is intuition, as I intuited. Then athletics is certainly going to be agility, but let's triple check. Agility. Athletics lets you do things like climbing, flying, gymnastics, sprinting, swimming, and throwing. So that's good. And then stealth, I'm sure, is also agility. I'm not even going to look. Of course it's agility, right? Agility is looking like an important skill. So our skill ratings here are at 9. As I look at it, maybe stealth and athletics I'm not as worried about. Maybe I can drop those down to 3 to bump these up to 5. Or maybe like we do that and put stealth at 4. How's that look? Athletics of 3, close combat of 5, perception of 4, and stealth of 4. Or, alternatively, what I could do is I could drop close combat down to a 4, and I could get a specialization, a close combat specialization. Always a cool thing to do. So, like blades, clubs, or unarmed combat. What do you guys think? He's an adept. Let's go with blades or unarmed combat. What do you guys want to do? Is etiquette its own skill? Etiquette is not its own skill. It falls under the influence, the general social skill category, or skill of influence. So this guy doesn't need that. Especially since etiquette is, or influence is an untrained skill. Like, you can do that. No arms, unarmed. Everybody's saying unarmed. Let's do unarmed. We want him to punch people. So he'll get a specialization in unarmed. And so this thing right here is different. So we have specializations, which do what they did before. They give you a +2 when you get a specialization. Purchasing character creation uses 1 of your skill points. But then you have this expertise thing, which is a little bit different. It's a little bit a step up from a specialization. so I could be specialized in unarmed, but also have an expertise there, which would give me an extra one. But the thing is, you cannot get an expertise in character creation, and you have to have a specialization before you get to an expertise. And you have to have, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I remember you can't get 2 specializations in the same skill until you first get an expertise in one of those specializations. So if I wanted to later get a specialization in blades, I'd first have to get an expertise here first, and then do it. So this is like watching Bob Ross. I need to talk a little bit, get a little bit less excited and calm here. We're gonna talk about some perception, and but I think that's skills. That's looking good. So we've got attributes and skills, close combat in general. We've got a dice pool of 9. If we're doing unarmed, which will be what we focus on as an adept, we'll be doing 11, and we can talk about some other stuff later. Maybe we'll continue with this character. What is his name? We should name him before I'm going to give some stuff away. That's why I'm wrapping this up. And then we're going to chit-chat. If you guys got questions, I'll answer them. What should we name this guy so that we can maybe continue him later this evening when I do some more late tonight? What do you want to name him? These clowns are happy because we're a killing orc. Yeah, that's right. His name is Steve. Punchy McPunchface. Nice, Cassie. Let's call him Bob. I like it. Bob. Or we can call him, Bob. That's an homage to it'll be our little inside joke about Bob Ross. So yeah, there we go. We've got an edge of 3. And that's the pool that you started. Steve, Lau, Jeff. We're going with Bob and I like it. Because you know what? My name's Bobby. So people call me Bob all the time. Let's go with Bob. I'm starting to get a headache here. I need some water. Go to the complex action fridge over here. Ugh. You guys watch the Buddy Cop Show premiere? Who in the chat watched the Buddy Cop Show thing that I did? Episode 1 of Buddy Cop Show. You guys we've raised enough money where I'm going to show off all of the remaining 3 episodes of Buddy Cop Show. So a total of 4. Who watched Buddy Cop Show? The complex action fridge, right? It keeps things cool. You watched it, yeah. Guess what? Look at this. This is not something I'm giving away. I only have one of them. But this is see how well you can see it. This is we had all sorts of we got magnets made. You can't see it very well. It's the light. I'm trying to make it so the light doesn't. That's Orville Redenbacher jumping away from an explosion. And if I could show you better, you'd be able to see that that's not just any old explosion. That is he's jumping away from the burning Hindenburg. Yeah. Bob R. Oss. Why didn't I think of that last night? Where were you, merciless Ming, when I named my character the night before when we created him? Yeah. So that's awesome. Why don't we give away some stuff? Let's give away these Shadowrun. Let's give away a Shadowrun PDF bundle to start with. Get warmed up. I'm gonna take a deep breath. You know the great thing why I love streaming with someone else, and you always see me with other people. Here's a little trick. Is when I'm streaming with other people, I can do things like look up stuff or get a spreadsheet going, and because I can get them to start talking about stuff. That felt really good. Don't give you anything else, Palmer. Maybe you should have only bought 1 ticket. I can't control what the tickets do. It's out of my hands. All right. Wow. So many people have gotten raffle tickets. So what are we giving away? Let's see. How about one of these PDF bundles? Let's do, we've got 2 of these. We'll give away one of them and save one for later, which is a PDF bundle of some of the newer 5th edition books that are, People still play 5th edition, and they'll be playing it for a while. I know we've been focusing on 6th edition, but there's still a lot of people playing 5th edition. Let's give away a little bundle of some of the newer stuff. This bundle is 4 books, PDFs, Better Than Bad, Kill Code, Forbidden Arcana, and Street Lethal. We'll give away that and see. All right, so drum roll, please. Let's see. Wow. Okay, it was an early ticket buyer. 20. Let's see. It is Matthew Runyon. Got that some early. That's the Mr. that pushed us over the top for the $4,000 gold. Thank you, sir. We're gonna give you this PDF bundle. We'll get in touch with you about that, so that you can have it and stuff. What do you say if we give away something else? Huh? What do you say about that? Let's what about something Earth Dawn related? You guys like Earth Dawn? Who likes Earth Dawn? Earth Dawn has a long storied history with Shadowrun. We're not really allowed to talk about it, apparently, or the writers aren't. I can talk about whatever I want. I'm a rogue like that. I'm a maverick. You'd love to try Earth Dawn. Well, maybe you will be able to with this Earth Dawn Deluxe Adventure Kit. It's a PDF bundle that our friends over at FASA, Josh Harrison is our contact at FASA. He's the Earth Dawn line developer. We love that guy, and we talk to him all the time. And he's hooked us up with we're calling it a PDF bundle called the Earth Dawn Deluxe Adventure Kit. It's a PDF of the Player's Guide, the Game Master's Guide, the Earth Dawn Companion, Travar the Merchant City Sourcebook, the new Elven Nation Sourcebook over there, the Questor Sourcebook, and the Legends Pack, which is 4 short adventures based in Haven / Parlanth. That's like 7 PDFs right there. FASA is still around, absolutely. It is. I don't know the history of that company. You say what you want about them. I can't refute it. Let's see. Let's get rid of it. Get rid of it. And we're gonna do it this way, and then we're gonna random generated number, and we have. Hello, Thomas Malloy has won the Earth Dawn PDF bundle. Thomas Malloy, thank you so much for supporting the Stream-a-Thon and supporting our fundraiser. And I hope that you love the Earth Dawn stuff. What do you guys, what do you want, something else? One more thing? How about some Shadowrun character art? Who here was watching earlier when we were playing Vidya games with Paige, our very own America's sweetheart. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Paige Jones. Paige is an artist, and she loves to do art. And she's going to draw something on, I think it's going to be on paper, and actually sent to you. That's a novelty. Nobody uses paper anymore. So that's a thing. She's she's offering full body inked character commission. It's a $60 value, and Cole's Rest says, you saw me screaming in terror as Paige laughed maniacally. Yes, we were playing Left 4 Dead 2 earlier together. Anyway, let's do some character art. She'll do some custom your character. She'll do it. Make it for you. Let's give it away. Give it away now. This is why they don't let me on the stream alone by myself, because I start acting like a fool. All right, who's won this? Drum roll. Oh my gosh, this guy has bought so many raffle tickets. you guys got to get yourself some more so you can compete with him. Thomas Cool has gotten the character art from Paige. Thank you, Thomas, for all of your donations that keep pouring in. Like I said, I swear this guy is just buying like 5 or 10 raffle tickets like every 3 days. It feels that way anyway. I don't know the actual amount. That's awesome. So we will get in touch with you, and yeah, it's cool, and we will do that. But for now, right now, what do you guys want to do? We got 5 minutes. Let me make sure some people are ready over at the Sprawl. Before I do that, I don't know if anybody's listening in the chat room. Thomas is awesome. Also, hi everyone. Yes, Damien. Hello. We had fun. I missed you. I was fondly remembering my first Fiasco game this morning with Damien, where Kingsley Savage was born. My character in that Fiasco game. And what was I can't remember. Fiasco's amazing. Yeah, who was Kingsley Savage's nemesis? I can't remember the guy's name. I feel like it was like the name of a bar or cigarettes or something. I don't know. Why am I even doing this anymore? Let's just go to one person here. Big screen. Winchester, that's right. Winchester. They hated each other as much as me and Damien hate each other. Let's see. I am going probably to take a shower once we're done here. Maybe get something to eat, and then finish making my Shadowrun Anarchy character. Because I have a Shadowrun Anarchy game tonight, and that's a thing. I have to finish that character. So that's going to be funny. Speaking of Damien, Damien's going to be playing Anarchy with us later. I got a... You're replacing Paige? No. Who? Are you talking about Damien? Damien's not replacing Paige. No. Damien was always in there. I don't know if we have a replacement for Paige. Hey! Thanks for the cheer. Big time cheer. Oh, man. That's real good. Real good. Let's see. I'm waiting on a response to see if I need to keep droning on and on with you guys. We are amazing. We are $4,105 in. We're less than $400 away from our first milestone to commission somebody to help us make our website better. So let's keep that going. We got plenty of time. It's only 21 hours into the Stream-a-Thon. We've got 15 hours to go before this thing is over, before we call it quits. And there's plenty of opportunities. The Sprawl is going to be a good place. Allison, are you listening? We want to know, is Oz if I'm free from my chains here and can go, because I'll just keep going. I'll just keep talking. I don't even care. I'll just keep going forever. Is my camera out of focus, or is that my eyes just failing on me? Let's just do stuff like this. Watch. My camera's I think it was out of focus a little bit. There we go. Here we go. Rah. Big mouth. Rah. This is quality content, guys. Quality content. Yes, I am very tired, Aaron Bursar. Were you here? We gave away your box set to Palmer. Palmer's gonna get that. It feels like just a moment ago, Riopel, that we were playing Once Upon a Tabletop together. Just a moment ago. Gentonic, that was a strange moment to come back to. Networks, Personal Hotel California. That's right. You can never leave. There we go. For the sprawl. Then again, we're about to kick him off. Yeah, you guys tell me when you're ready to start, and I'll start it. I'm happy to. I mean, at this point, like I've been awake. I've been awake for over 24 hours. Far over 24 hours. What's another 5 minutes? It's another 10 minutes. I just need a shower. I've got my my Uncrustable over here, waiting for me, my prepackaged PB&J, so that I didn't have to waste valuable relaxed time actually making food. I've never had one of these before. So, you know, stripper lights. Are you talking about these lights back here? We can do fun stuff with those. Where's my time for the calendar shoot? Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. Let's see. This is not going to be worth it, guys. This is not going to be worth it, what I'm about to show you. Look, I can just change it to like green and purple. And then do this. How about that green and purple? Whoa! Look, we've unlocked a hole in space-time. Get funky music for lights. I should have some music playing in the background here. Let's switch it to like blue and orange. Blue and orange. Ooh, fancy. Yeah, I want to get some of the hue light strips to go right here, the colored light strips to put on the inside of here, so it like lights up the side of the complex action fridge, as we're now calling it. Buddy Cop Speedo calendar. Oh my gosh. You'll never see this. But because we actually did, after those 4 episodes, film 4 more episodes for a quote-unquote season 2, and in one of those, I did wear, as Orville Redenbacher, I wore lingerie, a bra and panties. I hate that word. I'm not going to explain anymore, because I feel like just leaving it hang there like that is real good. So, this would be a perfect time for Oz to tell me I'm free, so that you guys can just have that image in your head of me in a bra and very skimpy underwear, leaving it hang there like that. That's right, Damien. What else can you get me to admit to while I'm deliriously out of sleep? It was not a wrestling match. I'll tell you that much. So sorry to disappoint, Dirk, Hadron. What I did do, we had all sorts of have you ever? That's not a game we should play. So there's video evidence of this. Yes, locked on a hard drive on my computer. That's a very old hard drive, so it could die any day now. I like to live life on the edge. And it has not been edited together into an episode. Just the raw footage exists, which is probably more embarrassing. Like, I probably did really embarrassing things, like scratch myself while I was dressed that way. Can you really call it dressed, though? You can't hack it. It's not connected to the internet. Actually, no, never, Chummer Jim. I will never admit to liking Avenzi. This is when Damien cues his bookmarked Twitch clip. Here it comes. Of me doing exactly that. One time in college, it was in college, yeah, when all this happened. I rode a horse in those episodes too. We had an episode with horses. True story. I hope you're not waiting for... I'm going to keep saying it, Oz. I hope you're not waiting for me. I am just entertaining people with embarrassing stories about myself while I wait for you. I know you, Damien. Yeah, that's what you were about to do. Pull up that thing with me. There it goes. Obligatory capture. There you go. Just wait, guys. If you like the way I'm acting now, just wait. You need to show up at about 3 a.m. this morning. The last hour before this whole thing is over, that's a mess. That is a mess. At least I won't be there by myself, though. You know, that's the thing. It's when I'm sitting here by myself that things start to get really stupid. Let's see. Is the last hour is insanity, for sure. Note to self, never admit to lingerie wear and riding a horse at the same time. They weren't happening at the same time. No, it definitely wasn't happening at the same time. Why have I not slept? I feel like you know the answer to that question, Riopel. I'm not answering that. Yes, if you don't understand the lingerie comments I'm making, Kenjia, then yes, you did miss something. So yeah, what I could have made a whole nother character while I'm waiting here for the sprawl. I'm just kidding. I say hurtful things when I'm tired too. Hey, Damien, thanks for the cheer. Look at all those bits falling into that cup right there. After the sprawl, you guys should come and hang out for some more after that, which is schedule. Let me make sure I look. Kappa, that's right. After the sprawl, I'm supposed to talk about Streetpedia, but I haven't. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't opened Streetpedia yet. I might read a section if I don't fall asleep. I'm probably going to fall asleep for like 30 minutes, the 30 minutes I can. Try to sit down and read Streetpedia. So, fair warning, if you come to listen about Streetpedia, we might just be talking about more if we'll do character creation, or we'll talk more about Shadowrun in general. I'll take your questions or something, but I might actually get a chance to read, if I don't fall asleep, read some Streetpedia stuff. And then after that, yes, at the last 15 minutes of that hour, so at 4:45 p.m. Eastern time, Oz is going to be on here doing his contractually obligated choreographed dance. The rumor is it's to Britney Spears, and you're not going to want to miss it. I'm going to try to record that, and hopefully that won't do anything. Okay, so yeah, you don't want to miss it. Yes. I don't have much more to say in regards to that. You say contractually obligated, like Oz is being forced to do it. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Oz wants to do it. He's very excited to do it. Will Oz be in lingerie? I don't think so. Sprawl is supposed to go on. No, I know, Oz. I've said like 500 times. Tell me when it's time. Okay, I'm leaving. Goodbye, everyone. Tell Oz that seriously, I keep asking, when is the sprawl ready? Bye. Enjoy the sprawl. It's a cyberpunk game. He'll tell you all about it. I'm leaving. My feelings are hurt. Bye.